Hello, hello, and welcome. Hopefully Mike can hear me. Still learning how to work this, and I do need to clean my phone up.
Well, hello. Are we? We are live and
There we
15
go.
seconds. So
Yes.
we got Leo coming in here in a minute. He should be. This thing was buffering really bad earlier. You can hear me, right?
What's that?
You can hear me. You can see
Oh,
me.
you're buffering? That
No.
signal? Yeah, I can hear you and see you.
All right, because my earphones, I worry about the microphone and that sort of shit. So
Just trying to change the layout real quick.
no.
Sorry, guys, bear with us. This is a new program, so I'm learning how to work it.
Yeah, it's what you're doing on
There we
this
go.
on what was it? Melon app is what you're using. All right, so we're getting this down and we're working on it.
The
Where are you
Melon
at?
app, yeah.
Where are you at? You still in California?
We got it. I think we're good.
Cool.
Hold on, let me go inside. Let's go inside because
I will do my best.
it's a little windy right now.
I get
The
it.
afternoon winds. All right. Where did I put that sticky? There it is. Now, there we go.
Well, there you go.
That's
You're
better.
in van life. It's even better for you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You still got some wind. You still got some wind.
Oh yeah, there's still wind, but I'll close the door here in a minute.
It's not as bad.
There we go. Sorry, guys.
That was better.
Norma's rounding things up because we just had to escape to the truck. Yeah, and I can hear you too.
No worries.
So Leo, if you're watching, man, go to the first link that I sent you.
There you go.
That one will still work. It's a different way. You do it a different way than you do StreamYard, so I'm learning without panicking.
No worries. He's on there. I'm going to restream it to him.
So anyway, how's everybody doing? How was your week, Mike?
Not buffering. Sorry, message in the chat to Leo so he can get the link and be on here with us. Last week he wasn't, and it was odd and different. However, we got things done, and we were talking about things. All the links and all the videos that you sent me on hydroponics and everything else, fucking awesome site. Thank you very much. So much information that you.
You're welcome, man. I knew you'd like it.
It's so much information that I got to take in. It's like learning an entirely new reality. But yeah, I'm going to be doing that exactly. Instead of the pool, I was going to put a swimming pool in here because that was my materialistic mindset 20 years ago whenever I built this place. That's why everybody calls it Mike's grass. It's not grass. I'm just reserving the space for my fucking pool. But the pool never came. So now I'm going to use the grass for hydroponics. So learning, growing, and expanding projects. And first of all, shout out to Eucalyptus Oil
Nice.
And to the people in the Earth Day chat, all of the Wiccans and Druids. Thank you very much for all your tips and help and everything else. I am taking guaco tea. I am doing asapeshi, which is another type of plant that helps the lungs. I am down to, right now, I am 8 cigarettes so far today. So it's little by little. There were times during the Skull Island podcast where I'd smoke a pack of cigarettes during the broadcast, which would make it a 2-pack.
Yeah, I know, nerves, dude.
It would be a 2-pack.
Yeah, my baby does that sometimes too.
Yeah, I smoke. I get a little out.
Yeah, well, whatever the doctor tells you.
Something about the energy that the tobacco does, like something, and it's the nicotine too. But
Well, it's an enhancer.
Oh, yeah.
It's a .
it does, like, I don't know. Yeah, it kind of keeps things level when you're very high vibration.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yes.
Whenever you're stressed or anything else, I mean, I've been using that for 35 years to relax and calm down. And so now,
Right.
whenever I have to relax
Yeah.
and breathe,
It's just
because
not.
if I get stressed out, I can't grab a cigarette like I always did. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do?
Right.
Because whenever a doctor tells you got emphysema, yeah, you got to do other things, right? So,
Cinnamon candies. I'm telling you, nothing
yeah,
tastes worse than a cigarette right after
Or
you
you know, I
have
was
the
just
cinnamon
thinking. What just
candies.
came to mind?
no, but
What
I'm
was?
thinking about
I
that.
just
And
forgot.
thank you very much. I was thinking about the cinnamon.
Leonard,
So
I hope you can find it. Did you send them a new link or send them a link from this
I
one in
sent
there?
him a link to that one.
I'm going to send it into the chat so you can
Yeah,
just
I
jump
did.
in from there.
Go ahead. Instead of lighting up a
Oh,
cigarette,
you did that already? Let me see if I can do it.
give him one that works.
I will do my best not to trigger you tonight, Mike.
No, hey,
Whatever.
tonight, instead of smoking,
Well,
a cigarette,
I
We had a good show last
I've
week.
had a lot of friends that quit smoking, and then they hang out with me, and they want just that one because I'm smoking, and
no,
I
He
will do my
hasn't quit. I don't
best
think he's quit. I think he's
not to.
just
no,
backing off.
don't worry about that. I mean, I talk to other people that also smoke, and look, everything is with every. I mean, Junior, one of my friends, was here,
How do I
and
even comment?
he smokes like a chimney, just like I did. I'm not stopping him from smoking. He can live his life, do what he wants to do. I'm not going to be one of those people that goes, look, you're going to get sick, so fuck you, stop. Because when I was young, I was like, fuck yeah, I'll stop if I want to.
Yeah,
What I
right.
mean, it's my fucking life. You do with your shit what you're going to do, and I'm going to do with my shit what I'm going to do. And at my point, well, considering the doctor tells me I have emphysema and my future health depends on whether or not I choose to continue my habits or not, you start to rethink things. So it's a personal decision. It's on me. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. So you can smoke whatever you want. And whenever I feel like having a cigarette,
Awesome.
I drop a couple of
There we go. He found it.
drops of eucalyptus oil into my palms.
Yes,
And
right.
open my
Just
lungs.
Hello.
Open it
There
up.
you
You
go.
made
guys
it.
hear
You're
me?
good, man.
Leo,
Yep.
I went back to
you're
the
not
Loud and clear.
high.
original link and they let me in.
You made it.
We
Yeah,
missed
no,
you last week.
the
How
link
you
wasn't
doing?
working before. It was just buff. This
You
time
made
I
it
went
back
back
to
to
the
the regular
mothership.
link,
We
clicked
missed
on
you
it.
last
No,
week.
it'll
Leo,
just
how
I am.
you doing?
when we're not live, it'll do that.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
if I would have known that, I would have just left.
Mike made it in fine. He was here when I got back in here. I'm like, oh shit.
I just stayed in. I'm like, they didn't give me another link. I'll keep this
Oh,
window
see,
open.
I ended up leaving, and then I went over to check on my mom, and when I came back, he had a link, and I clicked on that, and that took me to the main website. I'm like, that's not a link to the show. It's a link to the website.
I sent you a link to the comment that had that was right there. I probably sent you the wrong fucking link, but it was right above it. It was a comment.
No, it's okay. I just went up to the original link that Aaron sent me. I just went up to that, went click, and here I came. I was like, hey, I'm in. As soon as it didn't even buff, it just went.
Yeah,
as soon as I hit the button, it said you're in. You can't see anything, but the host can see you. And then all of a sudden, you guys came on the screen.
Yep.
And I was like, hello, testing 1 2.
And
so
yeah,
all right, good. I'm glad.
How you feeling, Leo? Last week you were under the weather.
I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just had some. It wasn't the coop, or if it was, it only lasted about a week. So it could have been the coop. I don't know. It never went to my lungs. It was in my head, and I just blasted the cinnamon, the vitamin C. I was taking like 10,000 milligrams a day. I had my mom taking like 5,000 milligrams a day. And I went with zinc. I went like with 50 milligrams or 150 milligrams a day, and you're only supposed to take like 25. And then I got some what else? Bunch of other shit. And I just kept taking it, and every day I felt better. So I was like, okay. And then I was like, can I OD on this shit? No, all right, I'm good. And so I just kept my mom on it and kept me on it, and told my family stay away for a week, which sucked because it was my brother's birthday and Mother's Day. My brother's birthday was the 7th, and Mother's Day was the 8th.
Today's my mom's birthday.
Right. Well, and today's my wife's birthday, and she's in Arizona. So I had said happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, right. So yeah, so I'm here. I am sitting around with my foot up, right? But mom's good. I'm good. My sister came up yesterday. Everything was fine. So I'm like, okay, going back live on Wednesday and Thursday. And then I got Dino from Paranormal Into the Night wants me to do a show on Thursday, and I told him, dude, I'm already doing Wednesday and Friday. That might be too much for me to do a 2 hour or 3 hours a day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for my mom. It's bad enough Wednesday, Friday. He's talking paranormal, and he wanted me to go co-host it with him, and I was like, oh, bro, right? And then I got the Evan from Australia just now while I was sitting here going, dude, hey, listen, I'd love to do a show. We got this person and that person, and we got our up and coming thing, which he just gave me a ticket to. He always gives me free tickets to their show, right? Because I'm always promoting them and working with them. And he's like, I would love to promote the next show. Can we do that? I'm like, hell yeah. Let me know. So I got a show coming up. I don't know the date yet. We got to hammer that out in the next 2 weeks to do those guys live. What are you going to do, right? And then on
bring them on our show, dude. Get them trade out, dude.
You know?
On Friday, guys, at 11 a.m. I think it's 11 a.m. I don't see. If I was on StreamYard, I could bring it all up. I have all the shit on there. Let me look at my phone. On Friday, we have. I can tell you who now. We couldn't for a long time. It was a secret, but we have. Oh shit, what's his name? Hold on, let me look at my phone and I'll make sure I have everything right because I got it at the time. Let me do a commercial right quick here. Right. So did I not download it? I don't have it downloaded on this. Here we are. Okay, so we on Ancient Aliens Worldwide, you have to go to Ancient Aliens Worldwide on Facebook and join the group to be able to see this. It's an exclusive, and it's Friday, the 13th, this Friday at 11 a.m. Let me make sure I got the time right. I'm looking on my phone at the ad here. 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right, American time, 11 a.m. So that's 2 p.m. Eastern. That's 7 p.m. GMT, and that's 4:30 a.m. if you're in India. I don't care where you are on the planet. If you can't figure out what time of day that is for you, you're not supposed to be there anyways. So we have Andrew Collins, who has been on almost every episode of Ancient Aliens on the TV show. He's got his 13th book coming out on Friday the 13th. And it's entitled Origins of the Gods. And we're going to do a 2-hour minimum, 2-hour exclusive interview with, I'm producing it. I probably won't be speaking much unless they ask me to ask questions. Otherwise, Mandy Wilson, who is the curator of Ancient Aliens Worldwide, which I created and still own, she's going to be interviewing him at 11 a.m. on Friday. On that end, we're going to have a 3-book giveaway. He's giving away his book, goes into the on sale everywhere on the planet on Friday the 13th. So if you have an exclusive, you can get a free book. The producers, his company that produced the book for him, it will mail it out to you guys. But we have 3. It's going to be 3 different contests during the interview that we're going to do, but you have to be present because you have to be there in the group as a member. So that, of course, it helps us. We're getting a lot more people. We're trying to go over the 300,000 mark, or the 300,000 every time we get close. Facebook kicks out about 20,000 people and says those were inactive accounts, right? But then they let us go and we get right close, and then they go, oh no, there was a bunch of inactive accounts. That's been going on for 2.5 years now. We're not sure why, but it is. So we're trying to bolster that to get it over the top, just so we can tell Facebook they can screw themselves. So anyway, the contest is going to be whoever asks the best question, right? And then we're going to have the most popular question. So we're going to have you guys get involved in who's going to be able to win. So if you have some fan club and you're like, well, I like Jack Black, he's going to be asking the best question. All right, if you guys want to stack the deck, go ahead. Right, but be there. You have to be in the group. You have to join the group. We're letting just about everybody in. We're going to have a whole staff working the show. So if you guys try to troll, you get about 4 words out and you'll be gone. Right, and so we're going to be monitoring the entire thing, and it's going to be really cool. I think Andrew's going to pick one winner, and then we have a random generator to pick the another winner, and then we're going to have whoever has the best question. And I think that's going to be by popular vote. By the
sounds
fans.
like fun,
right?
It's going to be cool, right? Yeah, it's going to be cool. So, and that's Ancient Aliens Worldwide on Facebook, the group on Facebook, which almost has 300,000 members right now. You guys, it's the biggest Ancient Aliens group on the planet that's not a website of their own, right? I mean, we're bigger than MUFON on Facebook. MUFON
that's awesome.
Copies our shit, and that's not a joke. And Ancient Aliens, the TV series, copies our discussions And we actually went last season and the season before. Every single episode, we could go back and go, look, there was a 3-day discussion. Look, here was a 2-week discussion. And look at the topic. And they're making their shows about shit we talk about. And the reason for that is most of the cast and most of the producers are in that group. Not a joke. Right? So they're like, hey, that's a good one. Let's do a show on that. They don't give us any credit, but we all know. They're like, oh, we already had that conversation. Giorgio was involved in it. Now he's talking about it on TV. Those guys are cool. Right? I mean, none of us get paid. If we got paid, it would be badass. But let's face it, Mark Zuckerberg is the only person who takes it up the ass to make money. Right? So there's my commercial. I apologize for anybody that I've offended, as usual. Right? As you see, I'm like, if I've offended you, change the channel. Anyway, trigger. Anyway, so yes, I was gone for a week, so I'm making up for lost time. So there's my.
I can see that. I can hear that, man. Yeah, you're going for it. He was like, all right, I'm going deep right away. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's get that fucking monologue in. I gotta get it out. I went a whole week without talking, and that's just not healthy.
Right, and that's not normal, right? My family was like, "Oh, dude, you need to get back on the air, bro." Right? So, but yeah, so I don't. So we you know the concept today. I don't know what the title. I didn't see a title, but we talked about that with prepping. I only use that word because that was the TV show, which we all hate because we were all survivalists before that. Now, all of a sudden, in the United States, I don't know about everywhere else in the world, but definitely in Ukraine because they're going through a war. But here in the United States, the biggest problem that we have now, I want to address this right off the top. Another thing that's pissing me off, right? Not because I need it, but there's this supposed shortage on baby formula. Now, I want to ask a question, show of hands. What is baby formula?
Okay, well then just use your milk.
It is just, it's powdered milk.
Synthetic mother's milk.
Yeah, it's actually cow's milk, and it's changed.
That's it, powdered milk.
It's cow milk that's changed synthetically so that it has the consistency of mother's milk, and then they condense it to a powder. Okay, so if there's a shortage, the only people who should have a problem are lazy ass people who don't want to breastfeed.
Or those that can't produce.
Yeah, sometimes they just straight up can't produce.
If you can't produce, I give you a pass, and you guys should get first priority.
That's right.
And there should be a questionnaire.
Right. Then you get it prescribed or whatever.
Right,
yes?
exactly.
Put your kid to your fucking tit.
If there's a shortage, then that's good. It's going to make, it's not good right now, but in the long term, it's going to bring things back to natural.
Hold on.
And then
hold on, Leo.
They say doctors are like, please do not try and make baby formula yourself. What baby formula is mama's
breast I know.
Milk. Look, the question of whether or not you can produce or not is one of the reasons why we have baby formula. However, it ended up being exploited because it's a lot fucking easier. I had a friend of mine who she was worked 12, 14-hour days and that sort of shit, and he had a breast pump, to just suck milk out of her breast.
You do the breast pump, you put it in the fridge. Daddy takes it out, he warms it up so it's body temperature so the baby.
I was only able to do that for my first pregnancy.
Right?
And so
I'm telling you,
the second one, I got engorged. I couldn't. I was full. Don't get me wrong, but I could not. I could not get it to produce properly. I finally had to put him on formula.
So if that happens,
my youngest, she just
I'm not buying that 99% of all Americans have that problem. I'm not, because if that's a problem, then there's something that's in the fucking water, in the food in this country that's causing women to have that problem.
Well, we have to think about the genetic modifications in the food, in the water, in the air. Why? Because people are becoming different. How did we reproduce? How have we survived for 250,000 years, expanding as cultures and everything else? If life was so fucking difficult to goddamn survive,
right?
No.
That's like my sister going, you don't cut your cat's nails. I'm like, what did they do for the first 2 billion years before we got here? Humans weren't cutting their nails 150,000 years ago.
No, they
didn't get the COVID. They didn't get the COVID and all die off.
Right.
That's a whole
Right? They didn't get the
other
coop.
issue.
So my point here, guys,
That's
is look,
not
I
cool.
wrote.
I mean,
I
I'm
wrote a
just
book,
I'm gloating
okay?
right now because I knew it was all bullshit, and you're learning that it is bullshit.
Okay.
No,
I
we'll
wrote a
see.
book, guys, so I'm not coming from a place of a guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, okay.
Right.
So could it be that some women have issues? Yeah, absolutely, and you guys should get the priority because of that.
Right.
But those of you who just chose, I'm not breastfeeding, that's going to make my
Yeah.
breasts sag, and I
Well,
can't have that
and
because I'm a supermodel. Your dumbass,
Yeah, and the whole
your
thing
dumbass
is,
shouldn't have shouldn't get that stuff, the formula. It should go to people who need it. Okay,
Yeah.
so people have
Right.
gotten lazy in America,
and I've
because
got
of
actually
that,
another alternative.
right? Go
So
ahead, dude.
at and there's other alternatives other than breast milk or synthetic
Yes. Well, you know
mother's
what
milk.
the
You can
best
actually
thing
get
is?
goat's milk. You can actually
Yeah.
get a couple of other things to
Donkey
feed
milk,
your
bro.
baby
This sounds
and just add
hideous.
nutrients
There have been
because there are
centuries in which
vitamins that are
parents
in
could not
a mother's milk
produce.
that aren't
And
in
then, well,
like
okay, here's the
certain
thing. I
other.
looked this up too. That's a great thing that you just brought up, Aaron, because I looked this up and I looked it up in standard.
You can make
right?
your own too.
Standard formula doesn't have any of the vitamins that mommy produces for the baby.
Nope.
Okay.
And it doesn't
So,
have
but
the
you know
immune
what
system-
does?
the immune
Do you know what
response,
does
the
that you don't have
DNA.
to add? Donkey milk. Everyone goes, donkey milk. I'm like, you'll drink a milk from an ugly, nasty cow standing in mud. You'll drink a milk from a goat.
And
But when you
shit,
say
not mud.
donkey,
But
you
there's
freak
a
out, right?
difference with a donkey, dude. Just
Yeah.
not goat's
Donkey
milk. In
milk,
Mexico,
This is the
goat's
truth.
milk
This
in
is the
Mexico, we do
actual
that, but-
truth. Donkey milk is
This is
the
crossfire right now. It's
closest
turning into
milk
crossfire.
to female human breast milk on the face of the earth.
See, now I thought it
And
would have
it
been
has-
goat's milk.
And it has all the nutrients that babies need. Naturally, it's all there. You could take a child and wean that child on donkey milk, and that child would never notice the difference, and the child would grow up.
There's
Any
alternatives,
animal
yeah.
produces milk. And then if you actually trust your tribe around you, if there's another mother close by that's producing so much and they're willing to bottle it up for you,
Yeah,
et
you
cetera,
can
et
do that
cetera.
as well.
There's so
Yep.
many different ways besides
Midwives
going and
used
buying
to
the
do
store-bought.
that. Midwives used to
false
stay
fake-
that way, so they could. They were like in their 50s and their 60s and still producing milk because they never
Yep.
stopped. Yeah.
I still produce colostrum.
See?
And you know what my doctor chopped that up to? I smoke weed.
Because she smokes weed. It's true. It's actually a true thing.
And that used to be a part of our diets, y'all. Like
a
every
doctor
day.
was
I don't
actually.
doubt that. I'll be honest, I don't doubt that because we all know, like, if you smoke too much weed, if you smoke every single day, you start getting man boobs because your mammary glands start acting like female mammary glands. You start wanting. I mean, that's just the way it is, bro.
Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on. Now we're talking my field. All right.
It's like, wait a minute. Now you're getting into my wheelhouse,
now
bro.
you're getting into my shit, and I got to defend my fucking territory. Because anyway, when I was a sophomore in college, I was getting a big fucking man gut, and after football and championship team, and I ended up stopped playing football and that sort of shit. Yeah, smoking a lot of dope, eating a lot of fucking food, and just sitting on your ass all fucking day makes you feel
Well, now
like
you
that.
get man boobs,
When you
too.
just get off your ass and actually do something, it's not the weed that's making you get man boobs. It's your lazy
ass.
fucking ass. Don't get out there and fucking do something that
He's
makes
going.
you happy.
Mike's going hard in the paint, dude. He's going
And
hard
if
in
you're
the paint.
actually
Hey,
producing
right?
milk and
He's
driving
glucose
my
and
area,
stuff,
bro.
He's
You're
not
giving
able to
my
slam
area.
dunk.
and then
I
you're
got
too
you. I
high
got
in
you.
estrogen, right?
Chill. Hey, Mike. We have a lot of female viewers.
I'm just saying.
Sorry.
But no, if
You're aggressive. Hey, you're aggressive. I'm coming to you right now in Brazil.
No,
Sorry.
seriously,
I'm the
though.
crop police. You cannot
It
express
comes down
yourself
to
on
our
this
natural
channel.
hormones, though.
Sorry, no,
Marijuana
the thing is-
will assist in your estrogen and the bodily functions that
Yeah.
female bodies do, right? Or even male bodies, actually, and really and technically.
Yeah.
It helps your brain to connect certain neurons properly. It just brings you into balance if you're doing it correctly, right?
Exactly.
Not to say you can't just go and get high and whatever and not pay attention to the fact that it's actually balancing you. And if you were conscious about what you were doing, you'd realize you're working and functioning better.
Yeah.
So,
The-
I mean, it
No,
really
what I was saying is I teased Mike. I was teasing him.
no, but
Oh, he
the
knows
thing
how
I
to
just-
about
I
use
the-
tease a lot.
no, he knows.
No, I know, but the thing
He's
about
not
the
taking
estrogen
it-
and
he's
everything
not
else
taking
that I
it
need
any
to.
other way.
No, the only reason that I was getting like that is that you don't mess with weed and being because dude, I'm
Right.
and I smoke like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I get what you're
Oh,
saying.
yeah.
And so it's a
Me
question
too,
of
brother.
mentality.
So don't, you know what I'm saying? Me too. You know what? I'm not high right this second, but that's surprising. If I would, if this shit would have loaded right, I probably would have taken time to go. All right, cool. I got a minute.
Look at Linda Weir. Look at what she
Right.
said. Hold on, I gotta put this in.
I had a friend on. I had a friend over, so yeah, we ended up.
Oh, I don't
smoking a
even
good
have
one.
that open. I gotta open that chat so I can see what people are saying. Look at that. I had that closed. What's up, people? What's up? What's up? I didn't even. I'm looking up and it says there's like 35 comments, and I was like, "What? Open that window? What the hell?"
He's just shaking a little rust out, people. Just shaking a little
got in
rust
there.
out.
Right?
just
Haven't
get in
been
there 'cause
live for fucking 10
haven't-
days. Goes
I have a
everything goes to
tendency-
pot.
I had
Well,
up
really,
Facebook.
you
Let
know,
me
I
check.
mean, it's probably one of those what you could call a miracle plant. I'm sorry, you could turn it and make it into so many different things, and it truly is it was part of our diet. I'm not saying you have to go eating THC and getting high. CBD, just the plant itself, this whole plant,
Right.
in any form in which you can possibly make it, is just fucking phenomenal.
Look,
Why is that?
the sales
Because it's
for-
natural,
I'll
and you
tell
can
you,
be.
Aaron, I'll tell you, Aaron. The sales.
Oh, I know we can just go on about this because it's a
they
miracle
were,
drug.
they were made from the
I agree, though.
from the
I'm with you.
stems.
You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
you have hemp sales, so you can actually use everything in that plant. I mean, you can go back to Buddha.
Yep.
He was sitting under that tree. He was eating one seed a day. What seed was he eating? Every single one of the scriptures that tells you in Vedic texts and all that kind of shit tells you that it was a hemp seed, that he was eating one seed a day underneath that tree, just contemplating the universe. All right. So yeah, there are lots of benefits to that plant, and that's one of the reasons why
CBD is actually good. Like, and a lot of people think that you need cannabis or you need the THC to mix with this. Yeah, for certain applications, but
Yeah.
there's CBD that actually works for like people that are like epileptic or
Yep.
have seizures. They're taking it as true medicine, not to just get a buzz. You know,
Right.
and that's
Right.
what she's talking about is like the wellness products that she deals with, that she's studied for the last 5 years. You know, she knows that there's a lot of benefit to the CBD, and it kind of gets overshadowed
It really
because
does.
of the THC. Everybody thinks they relate THC. I've got to be high to actually have some medicine.
Yeah, and that's not true.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of
that's
the
the
CBD.
programming.
Yeah.
But that's the programming they have into everybody
Yeah.
to make sure
Yeah.
that nobody actually enjoys one of the most beneficial herbs. that the
Right,
world has
right,
ever
exactly,
known.
exactly.
In
Yeah.
so many ways, from the stems to the leaves to the buds to absolutely everything can do it. That's one of the reasons they had to destroy that in order to grow
Yeah,
cotton, because cotton
Yeah.
was less
Yeah.
efficient than what hemp was. And so it has been an active war on this because they want to make money on it. And the whole
Yeah.
point is that it just brings peace and love, brother. It was the 60s. It was the heart of the fucking 60s that changed the mentality of
Your
entire
genes are
generations.
made out of hemp. If you have any, they're older than,
They're
19.
I love that
Anyway.
comment.
whatever.
Right. H ate the whole cookie, and they must have put a lot of pot in it. If one cookie got you fucked up.
Hey, no, that's good. No, you know, you
Hold
got to
on,
take
hold
certain
on.
dosages. If you're in pain,
Yeah.
you're going to take more. And yes, you are going to feel like you're on LSD. That's what I've tried to explain to people. Norma still doesn't get it on an edible. How freaking, how much can happen?
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
I
How
don't
intense it
have
can be.
it doesn't. I don't know.
I haven't had.
respond.
Hold on. I haven't had any edibles yet, so I couldn't tell you. I would love to because it's my ultimate dream because I can't smoke anymore.
I've had it.
However, I've also had LSD, and there is a big difference between a THC high and an LSD high. I'm
yes.
not sure you're going to
250 milligrams.
Yeah, they're
awesome.
Denise said it was
Denise, the
250
question is, my
milligrams.
question
What
to
the cookie
you-
was. That's a lot.
Holy
My
shit,
question to
that's-
you,
that's a
Denise,
lot.
is, would you
That's
do
a
it
lot.
again?
Oh, one of the reasons I quit
You know
LSD
she
is
would,
because
right?
I
I
loved it.
would. I mean, come on, let's be serious. Yeah, see, people don't realize the difference if you're smoking pot and it's high in THC. You also get the CBD because it
Yeah.
goes hand in hand unless they're genetically
Go,
modifying
Linda,
it.
go through
to lower
Norma.
the
She
CBD
sells
level.
CBD oil.
Yeah, and then like someone's talking about with Norma, the feeling is different when you don't have the THC. It's like when I'm smoking.
It is.
When I was
Well,
drinking
because
alcohol
all of a sudden,
and smoking pot, the feeling is
Mhm.
different. I would get less high because the alcohol would so I'd be
You
smoking
still get
more
the
pot
muscle
trying-
relaxant, though.
but you still get the muscle relaxant part
Yeah.
of it,
Yeah.
right? But I wouldn't
See-
get as high from the THC
Yeah.
because I
Right.
already had the
Well,
alcohol on board.
right. Well, I like to explain CBD and the aspects of CBD is it's not so much how does it make you feel as it's more of a lack of. You just
Yeah.
suddenly realize, whoa, that didn't stress me out like it just did
Right.
10 minutes ago. Oh, hang on. this is actually okay. I feel it's more of a lack of than a feeling of, right?
Well, it's what people are chasing when they take Oxy and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You don't feel the pain. You have kind of a euphoric a feeling. Right. Everything feels good. That's why those alternatives were there. That's why the pharmaceuticals created morphine. That's why they created.
And there is Delta-9. Do you guys sell Delta-9?
I don't know if we do. I smell ashwagandha, which I swear by, you guys, our fucking extreme shake with ashwagandha. It's got the prebiotics, probiotics. Oh, nothing is better for your
stomach. Good for stomach.
I used to take ashwagandha pills every single day. I just stopped buying them. But yeah, ginseng is.
Norma sells all this stuff, guys. She's got a lot of different products.
Good shit. And it's even
talk to Norma. She sells that stuff. Talk to Norma. Yep. She can get it.
It's keto friendly. Keto friendly. I said keto
friendly.
Or keto. I don't even know how to say
keto, but it's friendly to that.
Tomato, tomato,
keto,
what?
Tomato, tomato.
Right.
Yeah.
It helps you bring yourself. Yeah, it can balance you into ketosis, right? It helps to balance that out in your core health. Truly, really is assists with that overall health.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, did you watch our show last week, bro?
No,
we had like a pretty zen-like. We had a pretty zen-like fucking. It was good, man. It was
I saw when it started. You guys were doing, the whole because it was May 4th, so you were doing the May the 4th be with you, and Mike was dressed up as a Jedi, which looked really cool, man.
Yeah.
He was dressed up. He looked like a gray Jedi, right? He didn't look. He wasn't the dark side. He wasn't the light side. He looked right down the middle with that gray Jedi and the gray outfit. That was pretty badass. So I'm gonna watch it. I started to, and I went, I got to watch this whole show, but didn't have time today to do that. So I will be watching that. I heard it was good. People told me you guys had a good time. You guys did all right. Yeah.
Great,
we ended up talking about the hydroponics and survivability.
I was wondering how you guys got on that conversation. I was like in the chat. I saw that, and I was like, how did you know this? Well, it's because I didn't watch the show. That's how I know.
The thing is, Leo, you are the Jedi Knight. And so even though I have the shirt and the hood, that's what I'm saying. And so even though I had the shirt and the hood, I'm a fucking imposter. So I'm not a Jedi Knight. I'm just a fucking imposter. The only thing. And so the conversation ended up going to something that's my focus, which is generating food because shit's going to get scarce. And so last episode was all of Aaron's knowledge and Norma's indices. And I'm also dealing with the emphysema. So yeah, both of them were able to help me through that, and everybody in the Earth Day chat helped me out so much. And so you weren't here earlier, but yeah, I'm doing eucalyptus oil into my hand to try and help from time to time, and that sort of thing. So that was kind of covering last week, and that was a good show.
Mike, don't freak out because I went from emphysema and COPD are basically the same. COPD is like end stage.
God, you guys are making me want to smoke.
I went from having COPD testing, having COPD where I should be on oxygen, to a year and a half later testing that I didn't have it, and the doctors were like, I don't know what the hell was going on. Your lungs regenerated.
Well, it's like an inflammation.
It must be in remission. It's been in remission for 7 years.
You breathe shit, dude. You know how much shit you breathe in your lungs all day? Like, and I'm serious. Just breathing, just going to the store, just walking outside. You know how much dust and shit that you breathe every day?
Carbon, all that crap.
Not to say that these don't fucking speed it up.
I mean, it is an enhancer, right? That enhances those things.
Yeah.
But like,
trust me,
it is practicing your breath and bringing your even just having like some turmeric tea, those anti-inflammatory properties, with the intention of bringing down your inflammation. You're going to breathe better, and the better you breathe, the more open you're going to breathe. The more open you become, the more it heals, right?
Your mindset's 100%.
Yeah.
Our mind is a fucking powerful thing, dude. It's so powerful. You've seen over the last couple of years how it's so powerful that it will make you can actually create a sickness for yourself.
Excuse me.
Yes.
People that's actually there's a science for that. Whenever they test medication, they say that it has to have above a 27 or 34% efficiency rate, because the placebo effect
Yeah.
The, oh, we gave you a pill to cure you, and your body curing you covers 27% of the radius. So any medication that needs to be accepted needs to go over 27%, which is what has been proven the mind does. Along with the placebo effect, you have the nocebo effect. If somebody tells you you're going to be sick, you will have a larger propensity to generate that illness.
That's right, dude. That's right. And that's a whole paradox there, because as you get older, I'm sure you have aches, you have pains, and you actually probably start to get afraid, like I know I do, of death, right? Of, oh shit, I'm approaching, like, am I gonna get, I mean, that's, and I try to always walk around, but if you have things that happen or you have an injury, when you go into a doctor, how many times, and I'm not saying that they're not good at certain things, but how many times do they project shit on you?
Yeah.
With coming from a background of, hey, if I sell these drugs or if I sell this procedure, that's big money.
I'm going to make bank. I'm going to be able to pull that pool in here just because I closed that deal with that guy.
I'm going to save lives and I'm going to make money.
Some of those people that lived a long age or to over 100, I'm telling you, I'll bet you some of them have probably hardly ever been to a doctor other than for emergencies.
Whenever they're selling, they're going, hey, look, this only affects 10 or 12% of the population. It's not a big percent. Whenever you're selling to 10,000, how much is 10%? That's 1,000 fucking people you just fucked over to get your pool. All right? The people that lived, for example, the oldest man that lived to 124 at one point, they asked him, how did you live that way? 1 cigarette per day, 1 vodka shot per day, and I didn't stress. Stress is the largest killer that exists.
Stress is the big one, right? That societal impact on you, that programming, that desire to fulfill some sort of something.
If you guys pay attention to the news when they speak, there is nothing but fear in their voice. That's all they're doing is projecting fear.
And that's it. Like, I'm thinking deeper about, like, campaigning for things and certain campaigns that go on. And what happens when this happens? Like, okay, somebody died because they smoked, so they went after the big cigarette companies.
Right.
No.
But also understand what was going on at the same time. People were getting cancer from asbestos. They were getting cancer from, and how much did that play into, just like climate change right now? Yes, there's climate change, but this is like a cycle over thousands and thousands of years.
Going through this right now.
And we're cooling right now, which is messing with the planet. It is changing. But this is a cycle.
They keep talking about global warming, that things are heating up. I'm like,
but because of these campaigns that get money put into them.
Guys, here's the thing. If the temperature heats up, the ice caps melt and that cools the place down.
Hold on. The ice caps melt. They become less reflective to the. So the science there I can question on, but that's not my point. The thing that I want to talk about, regardless of what fucking happens, it doesn't matter because you got to take care of you in your area. Because all the other shit is made up for you to stop focusing on what you need to do right where you are.
True.
Absolutely. Focus on Antarctica. Focus on the asteroids. Focus on the satellites.
Save
the whales. Kill them goddamn seals.
Taiwan. Save Taiwan.
Save the whales. Remember that Cheech and Chong? But shoot them seals.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Oh my god. Yeah, but really, we got to understand how much propaganda that is really. Everything is hyperbolic when it comes from that mainstream, and that's how we've learned to, like, that is our Bible, right? Really has been this TV, media, all these things that that we are able to actually participate in now. At a bigger level, which I'm grateful for. Like, I bitch about Facebook, but I also know. Go ahead.
I know. One of the reasons why I drink and smoke and do all the things that I like to do, because the movies, the television, and everything else when I was growing up told me, you want to be cool. Revenge of the Nerds, for example. American Pie, or whatever. You want to be cool. You gotta be this and do that other thing, and those other guys that they're sleeping at 9 o'clock in the evening and waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, those are squares. Fuck them, we got to party all night, and I based my fucking reality on that and emphasis.
I know, dude, you do in our generation, man. That was what was taught to us. I mean,
exactly.
Totally, it was totally cool, right? to do
And
these
my
things.
fucking result is being broke with emphysema. Woohoo! Thank you, Hollywood, you
Quit saying
motherfucker.
that.
Well, here's the thing.
Quit saying that.
Now you need to learn to breathe
Keep saying
and
that,
cut
bro.
back
You're
on a
perpetuating
thing
it.
that's fucking up your lungs.
We're healers, man. You're supposed to stay
You
healthy.
don't have any kind of issue you can't just get in there and talk to and
We
work
heal
out with,
ourselves,
right?
and that's what all doctors should learn first.
Maybe you
Is
never
the body
smoke
heals
cigarettes.
itself.
Maybe you have 2 cigarettes a day for the rest of your life, but you've talked to your lungs enough, you can breathe and you're open and you're not.
My great grandmother smoked free her entire life, and she stopped at 80 something. There was I get that. However, this is also part of the super blood moon in Scorpio that we're talking about in all.
Yes,
You're fearing
yes,
death, bro.
yes.
You're fearing
You're right.
mortality. You're fearing your last
No, because
your
there's
last
a big change.
issue,
In fact,
or
one of the things that was mentioned in that group was that things that have been affecting you maybe for decades will have to
Yeah.
be changed and altered. So it's a basic change in mentality. And I have identified, I got down to 1 cigarette a day when I was 16 because I was supposed to quit. And I couldn't see myself as a non-smoker because all non-smokers are a pain in the fucking ass. They're a bunch of judgmental little motherfuckers that I didn't want to be one of them.
As he says, as he's being judgmental.
right. I mean, yeah, and that's all like what path you're on, where you want to go, where you feel like you need to go. You do need to adjust if you're feeling unhealthy or it's really hurting you. Yeah, you should probably go another way. I mean that would be good
There are
advice.
days I have only like maybe
But
6 or 7 cigarettes.
understand that
And others where I have
and you know
20.
what? We speak loud in here, and it's loud. I think. Okay, we're loud. Sorry, because I get loud. But anyway, I'm trying to calm myself down. But no, it's understand that we
is like 25 times louder than Mike.
Yeah, it's loud.
Every time you
It's
guys
loud.
talk, I got to turn the volume down. But when Mike talks, I can't
Because
hear him unless it's
we're in
100.
we're in the truck, and in the truck there's this would be a
It's
great
really
place
a
to
great
record music
place for sound.
Right?
because it has that
Because
like
the
it
acoustics
traps
are
all that
badass,
sound.
right? Yeah.
So you get good ambient sound, but it actually works as an amplifier if you speak too loud.
And I have a problem when other people are talking, like, I gotta get my shit out.
Yeah,
And it's
and
just
we all do that, dude. We're like loud noises.
Yeah.
Loud noises. I know when you guys are moving
Whoever
around,
shouts
you
louder
No, but anyway, what I was saying is we need to be careful to stay on topic and what we're talking about. I think I labeled this one survival or surviving the game, basically.
We're just paying attention.
And that's what we're talking about. I mean, we're learning how to survive as well. Like we have ways, we've learned things over time, how to survive. Simply, finding the necessity when we're in a weird situation. I mean, Leo wrote a book on it. But we're still learning. I mean, we're still learning. That's the whole thing with nature. When you're out in nature, you have to be able to. I mean, if you don't adapt, you're going to die.
Yeah.
If you're not smart about where you're going, which is why we're spending more time here to get more prepared. Because I'm thinking about. I mean, there's 3 simple things: shelter, water, and food.
Yeah.
Shelter, water, and food. If you have those,
the order
you're
is
good.
water, shelter, food.
You need water first. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Always water
And we
first.
intend to do some
You
not all in that
hauling.
order.
Right?
for
So
about a
it's
month
gonna be,
before you starve to death.
we need to do it
You
right.
can only go without water for a couple of days and you die.
And you know what? Most places where you're at, like as long as you don't eat the pretty shit, and you should be okay.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything about
fuzzy,
anything, don't eat any of the pretty flowers.
Nothing pretty, nothing fuzzy, and nothing sharp. If
Right,
it's sharp
nothing
and
fuzzy,
it has,
exactly.
and it has prickly things on it, don't eat it unless it's cactus because you can get away with it and get the prickly
Right.
things off.
Cactus
Right, but
can't
even
eat
then,
you.
you gotta
Might
be
trip
careful.
though.
Because if you pick the wrong cactus and you don't take the skin off, it's the skin and the
Gonna give you the
in
shits.
between that and the meat is poisonous. So you need to be careful with that.
Well, and what it does is it gives you the shits, and you don't want the shits if you're going to get dehydrated in any extreme situation.
Right?
Not at all.
Diarrhea
Right.
is what kills people during cholera because it's the dehydration from.
I can't.
Yep.
Mike, I can't hear you, bro. I don't know if your microphone's not working or it's too far away, but I can't hear
I'm
you.
I can hear him pretty good.
Let's try this way because I had it.
Here we go.
I can hear you better now. Say something.
Well, yeah, it's all the fucking microphones that I end up getting that are questionable. I got another one I can try out now. But, that'll be another story.
Well, the other one, when you pulled the microphone closer to your mouth, it was fine. When you grabbed a hold of it and pulled it up, I could hear you fine. It's just, I think it
Oh,
was
in that
just too
case,
far
it's
away.
better than these fucking things. Not
Yeah.
going straight. Those
It
were
was
given
just
to
too
me
far
by
away. Put it back
my
on and
English
just put the
classes.
microphone like on your lapel. It'll work then. I could hear it fine then. If I had headphones on, I'm sure it would be okay, but I would still have to go up and down. We tried this last time when Aaron and Norma are talking, it blasts my speakers, and then when you're talking, you're literally down to like 50%. Yeah, I have to take it down to 50% so that they're not too loud. But I have to take you up to 100%. And if you guys start talking at the same time, then I can't hear Mike at all because I have to either that or like the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, his mic's far
I
away.
get
His
in
mic's
charge
far
of
away.
that one.
And our mic
It's
isn't that
my
close.
turn
It's
at
pretty
that
close.
point. I'm just kidding.
But I can talk back here. Like, watch. I'm gonna go to the back. You guys hear me? Like, if this is this a good spot?
Yeah, you can still. You're just almost the same. Yeah.
See, I know that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, it's a perfect recording studio if you're doing van life. Yeah, it's like put
I
blankets in
do
here on the floors.
Need to
and-
figure out. I want to do like a sitting thing. I like.
Oh, dude, I'm
something
building a trailer. I think I'm
on
building a
this.
trailer, dude, on a 12 6x12.
Yes.
Toy
I got
hauler.
a 6. Yep.
Why not?
Gifted to us.
You
And
can
so
make
we're
a little
Survival, bro. Survival. If I'm gonna buy land, I can't build land. What I'm finding out is in Arizona, and I'm gonna find out other shit, I'm sure. In Arizona, you can't, if you're gonna finance the land, like rent to own.
Oh, and then they froze. Everybody, no, Mike is still. I'm not frozen. Are you frozen? They're
I'm
frozen.
there. I'm listening to everybody, just trying to adjust my mic. Can you hear me? I actually put it closer to my lapel, so
It's a
closer
little
to-
bit better, but not much. They're
Not
back.
much.
You guys froze for a second, Aaron.
So
I
Is
know.
that us? Yeah, we noticed.
So,
It's not
At first, I thought it was
necessarily-
me, right? And then I looked over, and Mike exhaled, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's not us." I think it's not us.
Exhaling is the thing.
Yeah, we were
Um,
trying to figure that out. Figured it was
But
us.
my sound is still not. It's still questionable. Still low.
It's still low for me,
You
but
should
I'm
grab mine.
dealing with it. I've been doing it now for 46 minutes, bro. I just got to deal with it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna test
well,
the
I need
music
If
in
I
here.
put on the headphones, it wouldn't be.
It
You know, what I mean,
sounds
last
out
time I
there.
had one good ear where I could hear it. I plugged in the headphones and it was working that way, but
You know,
You're a little tunnel rat, dude.
babe,
Tunnel
that's
rat.
not the
You're
point.
not a rat,
That is
but you're
not
a tunnel.
the point. Point is,
She's okay. I'm trying to explain to her how, like, in Vietnam, if she was in Vietnam, like, if they let women fight, then she would be
They did.
one that goes in with the shotgun in the tunnels.
in the tunnels, yeah.
I am an invisible being. I have the
She'd be
gift
the
of
tunnel. They call her
invisibility.
the tunnel rat.
A,
I'm
B.
sorry.
I am
babe.
very
I'm-
small. I'm short, so I have to
sorry,
do
but if you
everything short
you go
people
in-
would do.
She
But if
gets
you
into
go into,
smaller
but if
spaces.
you go into if you go into the tunnels with a shotgun, you're gonna blow out your ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as you fire it, your ears are gonna be bleeding.
Yeah, but you use the shotgun because if you go into a dark tunnel and you see they call them the Viet Cong back then, right there
Yeah.
in the dark, you got to have that's a good close quarters gun. If you're going to fight in a room, which I don't suggest anybody do,
Right.
fight inside of a room because, yeah, there's a lot of shit going on. You want to be able to hit the person on the first shot. That's psychotic, but really, that's strategic.
But if I'm
I
gonna
wanna
be
hear the
there
sound
and
in
doing
here.
that,
Well, that's why they. Right? It's a good studio.
Oh shit,
in
yeah.
and the
Bayou.
reason I do so much.
I'm in the bayou, baby. I'm in
Right.
Louisiana.
But
I had
that's
to hear
why
it, man. I had to hear what it sounded
why
like.
they outlawed the shotgun because we here in America invented the shotgun and they didn't like it, so it's against the Geneva Convention because we would use it. And if you get real combat rounds,
Scattergun, man.
most people, you can take out 6-8 people with one shot. If they're standing,
Even somebody that doesn't know how to shoot or is not a marksman can actually use a shotgun. You just aim the
Shotgun is
barrel at the
best.
target. That's it.
Shotgun is best for people.
But
who
too
don't
close,
know
it's
how
kind of
to
tough, man.
Oh, too close, you ain't gonna miss.
Shit.
You ain't
can't
gonna
miss
miss.
at
It's
a
gonna
close
be a
range.
big ass fucking hole because all those
It's a
pellets are gonna
great
go straight
weapon
through.
for close
Yep.
combat. And then if you got a pump shotgun, you shave off the barrel. It's perfect for like
Yep,
you were
that's
talking
what they
about
go
your
in there
range.
with sawed-off shotguns, man. They go in there with sawed-off shotguns, and I think
Put on earphones.
I'll have to look it up. I don't know for sure, but I think I'm gonna have to look it up.
Well, you know that if you watch any movie that's made in America, you always see one soldier that's got a shotgun strapped over his back, and it's usually a pump shotgun, and it's usually sawed off. And then they'll usually pull it out, just like Michael Biehn said in Aliens, or Alien, the first movie, or it was the second movie. When he pulled it out, he says, "I keep this close for close combat," and he pulls it up and goes, and that's the truth of it, right? If you're in a room or somebody's up close, bloom, bloom, bloom. I mean, you just take people's out. That's why the Swedes invented that combat shotgun where you cock it with the handle you're holding on to. And that thing's great for freaking close combat because you would load that. And then instead of having to hold onto the barrel this way, you got leverage because you're holding onto a handle that's sticking straight down. And you go, boom, click, and you can push and pull at the same time.
I saw that, but I never understood how they did that because I was used to the American version to where you're pumping it here in the front.
Right.
And so you have, for example, you have your sniper for long range. Then you got your machine for shorter. Okay, when they're running in, you're taking them out. They get in up close. You pull out that shotgun because that's going to take out anything that's right in front of you. And if they get closer to the shotgun, then you got your knife because then you're in your inner circle, and you got to make sure that nobody's getting around you. So you have each weapon for its distance.
And then if they get too close and they disarm you, you pull the pin on the hand grenade that's around your neck and see what fucking happens next.
Everybody goes.
Okay, so I was wrong. Look, this is the tunnel rats in Vietnam. This is what they used. I was wrong. An M1911 pistol or an M1917 revolver. A bayonet, a flashlight, and explosives.
Yeah.
Because what the explosive you toss in to throw them off when they're in the front. The bayonet, if they catch you by surprise, it's that knife factor. The flashlight, because you're in the tunnels, and it's the M1 whatever. That's actually a semi-automatic rifle, which means that you're going to be firing off one round, and it's not a big caliber because you're in a small area. You don't want the echoes. Yeah. You don't want the problems with your ears.
Well, and that's why 9mm is perfect for that because or a 22 or a 38 or below that really, because they're smaller caliber. You're not fighting more than 50 feet. Right, you're close combat, and the sound is not going to destroy your eardrums because people don't realize how you know what when they hear real gunfire, they go, I don't know, it sounded like firecrackers. Yeah, it's because a firecracker actually sounds more deadly than a 9mm or a 22 caliber. Okay, people don't realize that because you're used to movies where they make everything sound like a howitzer, and so everyone thinks that a 38, like when Clint Eastwood fired his 357, it sounded like a fucking howitzer on a fucking combat ship.
On that,
you know, and a real 357 is a little loud. Right, but it's the one thing that I heard my entire life that was really fucking loud was a howitzer. It was my father's sniper rifle, and it was a 308 Alpine, which you have to be 50 years old or older to understand because they don't make them anymore. It's like the M1 trying to get hold of an old M1 carbine. A 308, old school 308. You had to have.
Oh, you're talking about the old fucking straight fucking like the stock goes all the way up the barrel on some of them. It's like a Car 98, bro.
I cannot use that.
What was the name of the RoboCop gun? That one where he actually.
Oh fuck, I don't remember, dude. Desert Eagle. You talking about the Desert Eagle?
No, I'm talking about the.
I mean, it was better than the Desert Eagle.
I like this. He blew up a fucking car.
Oh, it was a 50 caliber. It's what they use these
50
days.
cal, yeah, 50 cal. Yep.
So all sniper rifles now in American military, I don't know about other militaries, but in the American military, they're all 50 caliber now. So yeah, you could take a car, you could literally shoot the block out of a fucking V8. You know,
but I'm sure that they use in other tactics. I'm sure like certain sniper missions where they don't want to be heard, so they can you can position them. They probably use those in like active live like fire when they're in a battle.
My favorite weapon was not made in America. It was either the German or the Czechoslovakian 9mm with a Starlight scope on it. Because it was 9mm, I could use it as a sniper rifle. I couldn't shoot 2 miles away or a mile away. Let's be serious.
I only know PUBG weapons. I know nothing right now.
She knows.
I know very well.
5.6, 5.5.
Okay, well, I grew up. I'm a survivalist, right? I mean, I wrote a book about it, right? So my family.
I learned to shoot some guns, but I don't know.
And really, to be a survivalist, that is one thing. If you can have that,
really, yeah.
If you can have a firearm, that is important. it will help a lot.
Too. There was always an argument. You have to realize, guys, that if you're a
It's like
survivalist,
a pocket knife.
your choice of weapons is your own choice. Your choice of everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Right,
tell you that
maybe
in
you're
my
bringing
book.
bone out,
If you guys-
right?
if you
Like
guys listen to
seriously,
my book,
or
I
yeah,
tell you
whatever.
that in there. There's no right and wrong. You have to figure out what works for you. Because the biggest conversation that I had, the argument that I had with everybody early on when people were just starting to put prepping shit on YouTube, I'm talking 2012, 2013, 2014, was everybody loved these 9mm. And I was like, yeah, okay, so
Same over in
how much
Super
does a
Bowl,
1,000 rounds of 9mm ammunition weigh?
Right.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, well, you can't carry. Yeah, you're right. 1,000 rounds of 9mm ammunition weighs over 20 pounds. So are you going to pack that around with you everywhere you go? Guess what? 1,000 rounds of 22 ammunition, not 9mm, which has the exact same stopping power as a 9mm bullet, by the way. People think that little 22 doesn't, but it does. It's scientifically proven. It doesn't shoot as far. So if you take a 9mm
doesn't
and a
fit.
22 rifle, you're going to get more distance than 500 yards.
Yep.
Okay, if you're trying to shoot somebody at more than 500
And
yards
protecting
away,
yourself, right?
Then you're trying to assassinate them, dude.
Right.
right,
Right.
okay. So if you're
Yeah.
if you're surviving and you're in the wilderness, you're not even trying to shoot a deer at 500 yards away. You're trying to get up close to a deer less than 100 yards away to make the kill.
22
Okay.
or shot.
Yeah.
But 22 is easier to manage. Yeah. 20,
Right.
just be
a
careful with
22
22s
handgun, a
because
22
they're
rifle
very.
is- to less than 5 pounds for 1,000
And
rounds.
people need to learn how to respect a pistol because a pistol is a different animal than a rifle.
Right.
Like-
right.
A pistol is so easy and streamlined that you will actually almost shoot yourself if you're not careful.
Yes, you could. You're
I
right.
actually was
It's like
bought.
playing with like my lighter or something. Like you can get to that like nonchalant place.
I was bought this little teeny tiny like little rifle gun once, right? And I shit you not, no matter how hard I tried, I walked up to my target and could not fucking hit it.
But it's
So
like,
really,
yeah.
knowing and understanding your weapon,
Why are we talking about such sadistic shit? Because
I
it's
know.
survivalist. Like we're in Road
Yeah.
Warrior right
Survival,
now. I mean,
part of
fuck.
survival.
I live in this suburban.
It's part of
Um,
survivalist. It's part of being a
Right.
survivalist because
Hold
I
on.
know there's people out there that say, I don't need any
on.
weapons or
Part
guns
of, part of,
and
part
I'm
of
going to
being,
survive just fine. No,
hold on,
no, you're
Leo.
not.
Part of being a survivalist, right there, because guns call attention to everybody. Because no matter what gun you use, somebody's going to hear it.
hear it, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This
unless
right
you-
But
there,
a 22 is nice and slick and
This-
stealthy though. If you have to
This-
use anything for stealth, a 22 will pew. Like that's
This-
basically it'll echo it a little bit, but it's nothing like a 5.56 or 7.62 cartridge
Well,
going through the fucking or you know what I mean, going through the going to the target. Like it does not cut through that much wind. It's really really quiet.
there's
Yep.
nothing better than
God,
going
we're
up to
psycho
somebody-
talking about shit.
There's
no, but
there's
it's
nothing
true,
better.
bro. It's
No, we're not. We're not. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
As I have these conversations, I'm like, because I learned these things growing up, dude.
I will agree with Mike in that I'm also a bow guy, right? You can take a bow and arrow and
Yeah.
I can shoot your ass.
Yeah,
If-
Norma
here's
was
the
saying
truth.
Yeah, I said
This
that as
is
well.
the truth. The truth is, if Native Americans back in the day had a one compound bow, we wouldn't be here in the United States right now. If we were,
Right.
it would be because we were native. I'll be honest with you. The only reason why the natives lost is because they couldn't shoot as far as those fucking
Right.
45 carbines
Yep.
that they were firing. Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. That's
It's all
it.
about distance. It's all
Yeah.
about distance.
Yep.
However, I enjoy these because my distance, I'm not shooting people that are 200 yards away.
Right. You don't
Okay.
need that. Like
I'm
we said
dealing-
before, Aaron said, you're assassinating somebody. Any combat
Yeah.
you're going to have in real life is going to be 0 to
The only
50.
time you're doing that is when you're hunting.
Right.
I mean, really, unless you're in some battle and you're like if you're in battle, that's why you
Well,
use the
I'm not-
50 cal. If you're trying to assassinate somebody, you're using something smaller caliber that is a little bit shorter distance, but you're stealthing in there.
Yep.
I mean, I know I could be wrong, but I just
No.
my mind thinks strategy all the fucking time, and that's
It does.
Cal over distance, because if you're far enough away, you get that quickly down under effect to where they don't hear the report of the gun until the
Right.
person's already dead.
But there's a reason. There's not every nail needs a hammer. You know what I mean? Not every. You know what I mean? Like there's that is for like taking out some motherfucker and blowing him up into bits,
Yeah.
or blowing his car up,
Yeah.
right? But there's like you could probably. I'm sure they still use 30-06. I can't remember what they use for. I think it's a 5.56 though.
Well, that's what the UN uses, 5.56.
Their sniper rifle is a 5.56 because it's a
That's the most
it's a
common
sleek gun. You can carry it around. You don't need
Most common ammunition.
But if you're hunting, I saw my brother shoot a deer at fucking 400 yards when he was 13 years old, dude.
Right.
Like
You can do that.
that guy
He's
is a
very
fucking
passionate
marksman,
about
dude.
it.
He's an ace.
Yeah.
With a gun.
Right. I used to be able to do
And-
that. And these days my eyes are going, so I'm sure I haven't done it in a long time. But I could fire with either hand and with a rifle, and I was able to hit targets. People were like, "How can you do that?" And you're not like right, because some people are one-eye dominant. It's either right or left-eye dominant. You have to figure that out. It's really easy to figure
Yeah,
out.
I'm more right-eye
All you have
dominant.
to do is point at somebody. Right, point at a specific spot, like a target. Point at it, and then close one eye and see which eye is pointing directly at it. If you have no eye that's pointing directly at it, you are not one eye dominant or the other. Then you have to be careful, because if you don't use only one eye, you're not going to hit the target in the middle. But otherwise, if you take the target and you go, there's
You have
the
to
middle
train
of the
it.
target,
Well,
and you point at it
you
and you
just-
close your eye. Like right now, I'm slightly right eye dominant, but truthfully, when I close the way it's still working, if I point right at the camera right now and I close my left eye, I'm not directly at the camera, I'm slightly left. And if I close my right eye, I'm slightly right. So literally the sight is down the center of my eyes like this. So for me, I would have to pick one eye, otherwise, and I could use either, because I'm not right eye or left eye dominant.
Well, hold on.
But most people are one or the other. And if you're trying to shoot somebody, that's why if you look, remember what you guys in the old movie Lethal Weapon, what's his name's character, not the crazy guy, but his partner, he would always cock his head because he was left eye dominant, but he was right-handed.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover's character was left eye dominant but right-handed. So he would put the gun out and then he would cock his head over because he had to look down his left eye down the barrel to get it straight.
Well, see, and that's kind of what I do, right? I kind of utilize both of my eyes. I need to make sure that I can see my target because I see
and
the
you
weird
brought
way.
up a good point. You brought up a good point earlier. You were talking about bows.
Yeah.
Now, a longbow, when you're shooting a longbow, you use both eyes. You just all you're doing is you're putting the weapon, you're putting the bow into the arrow into the bow, right? Connecting it. You've got a good hold, get it on the nock, and all you're doing is focusing on the target, lifting your arrow, and as soon as you lift your bow to where you feel like you're not even looking at the bow, you're not looking at any sights. You're just focusing straight up on the target. And when you feel like it's ready, you go, and you let go. And that's as you're drawing, as you pull it up, you let it go. And my brother taught me that shit. He's like
very passionate.
Mr. Wildlife, dude. But he loves to be home and have his showers. Like he would never live in the wild, but he loves to go into the wild. Go do his shit. Dude, he's bigger than me. And that dude, I'm telling you, hiking, like he'll hike the hyenas.
He's better at it.
Like just run through that shit,
and
dude. And I'm like, dude, let's stop for lunch, man. Like I'm fucking out, and he's like, "No, man, let's keep going," because he's excited about it, right? So he doesn't even think about it.
He's done it.
Again, the mind.
In shape, you do it all the time. I mean, look at.
But he's not in shape, dude.
Mohicans, right?
Dude, he's big. He's big. Like he is in shape somewhat. He golfs, but I mean, you look at him, you're like, you think I'm like. First time I went hiking with him for hunting, right? He was elk hunting, and he goes bow hunting. He keeps it pure. He doesn't hunt with his rifles. He does have rifles, but he's like, that shit's too easy. I want to do it with a bow. So he'll go stalk these elk. Like he'll scout them for months before the hunt, and where the herds are going, and where the satellite bulls are. I mean, he's like way into it, man.
The way you should do it, right?
When he goes hiking, at first I thought, okay, we're gonna go like 3 or 4 miles. No, dude, we went like fucking 20 miles, like booking it, like not a run, but just a fast walk. I'm like, holy shit, okay, I'm not going with you anymore. Unless I want to go kill an elk, or I'm going to kill an elk, I am not going along for the ride just to watch.
But that's the way it is, bro. It's not like you park the car and walk out 100 yards and there's a deer.
That's what happens, though. When you're out in the wild, you have to do that. If you want the meat to process, and that's the thing, like homesteading, like a lot of people are doing that. But also, even if you're in the city, you can go out and hunt. Yeah. There's wildlife somewhere close to you. You can hunt outside of the city limits.
Yep.
And you don't have to pay for all the beef all year.
Right.
One fucking kill will give you 6 months of meat.
Yep.
Right.
All through the winter, man. All through the winter.
You have a full cow, you are set.
for the year, probably
Yeah.
close to a year.
Right.
Well, for on my family's farm, it was usually 2 cows, but we would have everything we needed for
Well, I
the
mean,
year.
Size of your
How many do you have in
family,
the
size of
family?
There was 7 people in the family, so it was
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see that? Yeah,
Agreed.
It's
Right.
exactly.
And the
So
truth
they're
is that. I mean, and then it's planning. Everything is preparation. That's why it's called
Yeah.
prepping. Everything is
Yep.
preparation. You have to know the time of year to be doing certain things: planting food, picking food, growing food. That's just like anybody who's a pot
And
smoker,
how
you
much?
guys know
And how
that
little?
you plant in May, you pick in October, you dry by November, December, you're able to smoke. Okay, so if you have
Yep.
that in your mindset, you have to realize that everything else works on that as well. So if you don't know that information, you clearly you can go on the internet. If the internet's not there, you can get an almanac, and that'll help you. They have those printed everywhere, even these old ones. So if the world goes to shit tomorrow, you go to a library and pick up an almanac.
And
that
then
was
knowing
printed
how
in
much you need. How much do you
1945,
need for
and it's
your
gonna be the
family,
same
your size
cycle
of family?
that
Yeah.
it was in 1945, because every year in whatever region you're in has the same cycle. You just have to learn. That's what I thought. That's why this is for beginners. Is you have to learn wherever you're living, because if you change a place, I'm in California now, in the Northern California, completely different than when I was out in the Sedona Desert out in Arizona. Completely different
Yeah.
when I was in the San Francisco Bay Area when I was living there. The area that you live in is completely different. If you live in the city, you're fucked. Everyone's like, I
Right.
want to live in
Well,
the city because
I
the
mean-
city's got food. Well, it's there, but most of the stuff, like, let's go all the way back to the beginning, what Aaron said.
If you don't
In the
get
city,
supply,
wherever
you're
you
fu-
are on the planet, if you live in a city, everything's pretty. That's fucking
Yeah.
poisonous. Okay?
Right.
Anything that's
If it-
beautiful to looking is beautiful because nature's trying to get you to eat it so you die. Things that are,
Yeah,
you know,
and
they
that's
fucking
something to
count. We
remember,
don't
like-
know it's okay, why?
Well-
It's okay.
those things we think is
Bambi's
weeds are
why
actually.
it's pretty, but Bambi's not poisonous. But in the city, they don't plant food. They plant
Yeah.
shit that will kill you.
Right.
If the world
Well,
goes
they
to
plant
shit,
food, but they just start putting certain things in the soil.
No, they
and
don't
then
plant.
it's-
Most of them don't, and some
nourishment and-
cities do have like fruit. They have gardens of like trees that grow fruit, but not many. There's not
Those
many.
Right.
need to be
The
community
people-
gardens.
the people in their
need to
back
do
You,
yards
it.
you,
and
you
their
gotta
front
know
yards.
what you need, what you can grow, how much of it you like. I mean, really, because I mean, no matter what, if I'm growing something for just Aaron and I, I'm gonna have probably, I mean, as long as I'm doing it well, more than I need, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully, those around me
You can
are
trade.
willing to trade with
Trade,
me some of my abundance here because they
Yeah.
only need so much and I only need so much, and they,
Right.
you know what I mean, and they have something else that I need. It's really about working with what you need, what you can grow, what you do, what are your neighbors growing, what are they doing. Even if
Yeah.
your neighbors are like fucking 500 yards down the road, it doesn't fucking matter like how far they are.
Right.
What are your neighboring community? What are they doing? What are they offering? How best would you suit your community? And does it suit you and your needs? Right? And it really is about living your own way, knowing how much you need, what you need, how
What
to
is it?
get
What is it
what
that?
you
What is it that you really like? And you know, there's a lot of things that you just want. Like we like soda.
Yeah.
We like
That's
to
my
drink.
biggest
We like to
thing,
drink. I mean, we're not at the
Yeah.
place yet where we're fucking having to quit,
Right.
but
Yeah.
we're probably soon approaching. I don't know. No, we're not. I'm not going to project that. Anyway,
Yeah. I was gonna
there's
say-
certain luxuries that we
Yeah.
like that we want to. Like I'm thinking, like I'm growing agave plants. I'm going to the desert. I'm fucking growing agave plants, and I'm gonna still my own liquor.
Yeah. You can.
But
You can do
anyway,
that with- well, you can do it with anything, bro. That's what people don't
right,
realize.
and that's
Anything that has
Yeah.
sugar in it turns to alcohol. You can ferment it. You can ferment rice into alcohol. You can ferment wheat into alcohol. It doesn't matter what
Yep.
it is. You can ferment almost everything we eat.
And
Yeah.
if you have land, and that's why I wanted to bring it back to, is that everybody needs to be thinking about buying a piece of land that they can at least bug out to. You can buy land and rent to own it for like $100, couple acres.
Yeah.
Somewhere
How about
where you can bug out to, and a lot of places, not a lot of places. You got to do your research. Arizona, Texas, Florida. There's a few places you can do it. Nevada's got a lot of land, but anyway, have some land that you can bug out to. So if you do have to, this is prepping. Like, let's go out there. Let's build a cabin. Let's pay off our land. Let's have our land that we can escape to. And I'm not saying I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I want us all to be able to just chill and not have to be upset by any of that bullshit. But I feel like
Really?
there's something coming. And you know what? I got thrust into this position where I'm at, but I'm grateful for it because I know, and I have known for a while, that there is something like they're not done. They're not done. They're going to keep going.
Bro, the stuff is planned. Listen,
Yeah.
2 weeks
Yeah.
ago,
And that's been for a while.
3 weeks ago, here in the United States, Fox News was the only people who put it on the air because they're trying to warn people. They had, and this is not a joke, there was five separate packing plants in the
Yes.
United States,
Right?
all in one day, in the exact same
What
day.
a weird
Two of them were
coincidence.
hit by airplanes. Two of them were burned to the ground. One had an explosion that they couldn't explain. And all of them were in the middle of nowhere. The odds of those things happening all on the same
At the
day
same
were
time.
two aircraft crashed into two separate packing plants in the middle of nowhere when that guy
Yeah,
was
isn't that
flying
weird?
plane
Coincidental.
collected in the fields around that fucking place, and they hit that only fucking building in a half a fucking mile in every direction is not a
Right.
fucking accident. Okay?
Right.
So they're doing this shit on purpose to create problems. And you think
Yes.
inflation is bad? You think it's going away? This is my point of me writing this book a long time ago in 2016, because this stuff is, and the reason that they're doing it is because what? You guys have no fucking idea how to grow your own food. Everybody's hooked on, everybody's worried, well, there's going to be a meat shortage. So the fuck what? If you plant your own vegetables, that's free, and it's sustainable.
Problem, reaction, solution.
Okay?
And he's
Right.
yeah.
And that's,
But
yeah,
they
that's
need to understand that.
freaking
But
dialectic
that's
that
what
they
Leo
talk
was getting
about.
to.
It's the Gehillian dialectic, where they're creating what they're doing is centralized all your food into a store, got you to the point where you're a generation who has no idea
So
how to
much
fend
easier
for
to be
yourself
there, get it.
without them.
Hold on.
And then
Right.
they
Who
take
is,
it
who
away
is,
from
who is the
you.
largest farmland owner in America?
Right now, it's Bill Gates.
That's old Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking
Also,
creepy
the
Billy.
largest investor in Monsanto and in
Yep.
the bee.
Controlling. And isn't he related to the Rockefellers?
No, but
It's funny how they
No,
never
sorry,
get mentioned
WHS.
anymore. They never get mentioned.
But here's a question that you guys should be asking yourself, and I'm glad that Mike brought that up. Okay, so America, the most prosperous land on the face of the planet, grows the most shit. How
Yep.
is it that Ukraine is the number one exporter of wheat, and how is it that Russia
It's all a
is
bunch
the
of
number one
bullshit, bro.
exporter
I'm
of
not saying
corn?
people aren't dying, but
Because
sucks.
we export
How is
everything.
that-
We're
We
giving
have
them
a
all
real
of it.
estate.
How is that possible that the United States of America doesn't have enough of corn to feed itself? How
Right.
is it the United States of America, which was the number one producer of corn and wheat up until,
no, you
I don't know,
Oh, you
25
bullshit.
years ago?
Oh, hold on. In the
We got a
1980s,
big dog in here. We got a big dog in the Suburban. Big dog in the Suburban.
in the 1980s, there were hundreds, or if not thousands, of family farms bankrupted.
Hold on. Hold on. Stand by. Shit.
Stand by. We're going
baby.
in. Mayday,
Going.
Mayday.
Holy shit, we're going down. We're going down. Tell my mom I love her.
Right? If I don't return, man, I love you all, man.
No, I don't. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And look at that, all that tough
Yeah,
guy
I'm going
survival
down.
shit. The dog, the
These are
big
the last
fucking
words
dog
I
comes
want
into
to
this
say to
back street,
everybody.
and we're all done.
Yep.
In the end, I even forgot what I was talking about.
So in the 1980s, Mike, continue.
Oh yeah, the family farms were actually bankrupting. Why? Because they expected large things. Everyone was pushed to buy equipment they couldn't afford, finance it out the ass, and they couldn't keep up the payments because 2-3 years later they actually dropped the standardized government issued pricing on all of the commodities. There's
Yeah.
commodities bust, and remember, as a farmer, they're not producing the bread or the tortillas or whatever the fuck it is that you're using.
No, they're just proving
and everything.
how you make it.
We're becoming either a pay a lot of money for it or make it yourself kind of society.
No,
Like,
we need to be a make it yourself. If you
Yes,
Nobody
do
knows
it more
how to make
yourself.
it.
everybody has
Nobody
a
knows how to
garden
make it
where they
themselves
grow their
anymore.
own stuff. When I was a kid, we used to have the same thing. We had trees in the backyard. We had a walnut tree, we had an apricot tree, and we had a garden, and we had rabbits. And the rabbits were there, and they were being fed until we didn't have enough money to buy food, and then we ate a rabbit or two a night. Okay, and the
Yep.
rabbits breed like rabbits, hence the term breeding
Yes,
like
they do.
rabbits.
Oh,
So
they,
if you
have
get
you,
the
y'all
rabbit,
ever
you're
seen
gonna
a
get the
rabbit
rabbit.
have sex,
He's
dude?
a rabbit.
Right?
Holy
Yeah, they're
shit. What? I'm a rabbit.
Yeah. So, but we
Chinese
grew our own
astrology.
stuff. We grew
I'm a
corn.
rabbit.
We grew tomatoes. We grew potatoes. We grew strawberries. We grew this stuff. You could grow lettuce. You can grow all the stuff that you need to feed yourself, where you don't have to go to the goddamn fucking
Yeah.
store and pay
Right.
for the fucking shit that you grow. Oh, well, I
And
can't
it
get
tastes
an
so much
apple. Yeah,
better.
fucking
It
apple
tastes so
tree.
much better.
It's going to take you 7 years before the apple tree bears fruit, but when it does, you're going to have so many fucking apples, you're not going to know what to do with them. Like
Yep.
Norma said, though, then you put them in a fucking barrel or a bag and you take them to your friends and say, I have
Yep.
a fuck ton of apples. What do you got? I just went fishing
Right.
and I have 35 fish and I can only eat 17. How
Yep.
about I take the rest and I give you,
Right.
a bushel of apples? That's how it
Yep.
fucking works.
And if you
man.
have few neighbors, you learn to package, you learn to jar, you learn to store, you
Canning,
learn to utilize
jarring.
what
You're
you
not
have.
selling. You're not selling fruit. You're selling jam.
That's
Or
right.
You're bartering. You're not selling. You're
Right.
bartering
Right.
Yep.
jam, not just for
Yep.
fish, but skinned,
Right.
clean fish fillets, for
Right.
example.
And here's
Right.
the thing that people, what is the seller? Does anybody know what a seller is? And I don't mean somebody who's trying to sell you some shit. Okay.
My
Most
grandma
people
A
don't
was
know
cellar
what it is.
underneath the ground, man.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
You
They
learn
used
to
call it a
package and to
root
store
root
what you
cellar.
have, and you won't go hungry.
If you dig down,
And learn to
you
live
only have to
with less.
you can
Learn to
go
live with
in- You
less.
can go inside a little
That's
hill,
how we
or you
counted
can
it.
dig down. Okay, you only have to go down 6, 7
Like-
feet, if that. If you do that and you
Right.
dig an area that's 10 by 10, 15 by 10, 10 by 20, literally, you dig this shit out. It can be smaller than that, but if you do that and you go underground and make sure that you shore up so this shit doesn't fall in on you, don't die. Do a little bit of homework. It's in my book. Do a little bit
temperature
of homework.
will be maintained the same because the earth
Right,
temperature
you can
is
go and put
stable.
your jars of whatever that you're canning in there, or your cans of stuff, and the temperature stays the same all year round. Okay, and it's usually cool in there, cold enough to keep things preserved.
Because
Yeah.
it's
So you
dark,
put all your
because it
shit
doesn't
that
get
you used to do back
sunlight,
in the day
so
before
everything.
there was ice boxes and freezers and refrigerators. Okay, everyone survived on this planet for a millennia without electricity and technology, and guess
Oh,
what?
more
Everybody
than
knew how
that.
to do that. Okay, people don't know how to do that now.
Yep.
Everybody is hooked on their. They
Norma,
want you
Well,
to
you
because
said-
here's
yeah.
the thing: no one
Norma,
wants to bury
Norma.
their food under dirt.
Norma, you
Right?
said
People
that
think-
nobody. Norma, you said that we survived more than a
Yes.
millennia. Absolutely. The thing is that this generation, the one that's alive right now, has no idea about any of those things that are required to actually stay the fuck
Right. And
alive.
why is
I
that?
totally agree. I
Because we
completely
depend
agree.
on a
The
system,
thought
a
of storing my
centralized
food.
system.
Go
The
ahead,
thought of
Norma.
storing my food in a hole in the ground, even
It's
still,
actually a really cool concept.
it
and I
scares
remember
the shit
cellars.
out of me. Oh my god, I'm just
We
gonna
all
bury
grew up
my
with
food.
cellars. We all
But-
know what cellars are. That's for younger people that don't know what
I'm from
cellars is.
Oklahoma. We
Right.
got tornadoes,
Right.
so the best thing is a cellar.
Yep, you got
Yes,
cellars.
It's also,
Natives,
it's also
but just
And a
farm,
bunker.
Dig their little hole.
which means that my
put in there what
grandma
they
put
needed.
all her jams in the cellar, and everything stayed
Yeah.
there
Yep.
throughout the whole fucking year.
Yeah.
You put potatoes in a cellar, dude, they'll last all
We get
year long.
afraid to utilize
Yeah.
nature
Yeah.
when that's what we're living in, man. There's ways that
And again,
will help you.
you have to understand that I'm trying to talk softer because I know it's very loud.
I know, and I get
Um,
loud.
But really, you have to learn the cycles of the way nature works. And that's why when I give readings, that always comes up is nature and connecting to nature again and realizing the cycles of things. And yes, you can repeat them. Like Mike, he's getting into hydroponics. I'm going to be doing hydroponics because I'm in the desert. And you know why I want to do them? For one, well, there's two reasons. One, you use 5% of the water that you would if you planted something in the
In the
soil.
soil.
And I'm in a desert, so I need to learn how to do that so I can
Yeah.
conserve on water.
Yep.
Right? Because I'm going to have to haul my water in
And
unless I
flip
want
it,
to drill,
right?
$25,000 worth of up to a well
And
that's
maybe like
300
10
feet deep,
years down the road.
So I'm in the desert. I have to live differently. Now, if you're living in a different environment, you might have water or a stream running like in Tennessee or something. you might have water running right next to you where you can use it. You can
And
utilize
then
it.
you're all good.
And
That's
in a
great
short
shit.
well.
But not everybody's
Yep.
got that luxury. Yeah, agreed.
Right.
Right. When I was in the desert, it was the same. You have to learn that, depending on where you are, do they have monsoon season? And if so, you have to learn
Yeah.
when to collect fucking water, or you're not going to be out. And you're
Yeah,
not going to
drip lines. That's right. Drip lines
Yep.
work. Yeah.
The
It's
drip
not.
lines-
It's not even going to be drip lines because that's still using too much water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get buckets, like I was trying to tell Mike earlier. Is that they're called Dutch buckets. Now what you do is you series them all together, so you have like 5-gallon buckets if you're growing, tomatoes. Well, I'm probably going to start with marijuana because it's legal there, and I can grow 6 or 12 plants with
And
me
he's
and Norma.
really excited.
So,
about
and
it.
I'm really excited because I've never been able to do this. So
Right.
I'm going to experiment. I mean, I'm going to grow other things, but I'm going to learn. I'm going to try to experiment with the hydroponics because if I only have to use that much water, that means less trips to town to get water
Yep.
and haul it in.
Now
Yep.
think about this. In the middle of the desert, you don't necessarily have to drill a well, but the drip lines made me think about the humidity harvesters on Tatooine in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Going back
Right.
and forth. What happens is that the air will have its own humidity, and if it
Yes.
condenses at
Trap it.
night, it will
Yeah.
end up.
Oh, we were
dripping
talking about
down
this
into
last
a
show.
centralized
Yeah.
point,
Yep.
and you collect that, and you can use that during the day when there's no humidity in the air, but you collected the dew at night.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
And
say
they have
during the
technology for
day,
that, but it's
you're
still
in the
pretty
desert,
new.
There's not much humidity during the day unless it's monsoon season.
They do that in the
You're right. At night,
Arabia, in Saudi,
there's a
in
dew point. Everyone needs to learn, and I'm glad that Mike brought that up. Everyone needs to learn what is the dew point time that
Yeah.
you
Right.
live in. Because at that time, this is nature's way of feeding the planet, including us.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to collect, like Mike just said, either out of the air itself or collect it in a way that if the Dutch ways are a lot better. They were smart in
Yeah.
the way they did that, right? They even
Well,
have
it's just
like
harnessing
French
it's
trains,
Tesla
French
energy,
trains
really.
Are
Well, hold
designed
on, hold
for
on.
Dutch trains, and you have to you can collect water without having to worry about filtering it even underground. Okay.
And
Right.
they have
you
to
have
come
to learn
in.
what your dew point is and collect the water then, and you bring the water into a localized place so that you can then collect that water. But you
Yes,
can do that
collecting
even
water in the
underground.
desert because there's a lot of wash. There's a lot of washes.
But hold on,
And when it
hold on.
rains,
The,
they wash through. Yes.
the,
Yes.
the driest place besides Antarctica on the planet is the Atacama Desert in the north of Chile and Peru.
Yeah.
Right. Now they have a technology up there to collect water, and what they do is they put little sacks of plastic on holes.
Yeah.
Because the dew will collect there, and regardless,
On plastic,
Even-
yes. Oh my God. You know what?
even
Fucking
even
A,
on
dude.
the,
That's
even
smart.
even in the driest
That's in my
place
book.
on the planet,
It's in my
they
book.
can actually collect up to half a gallon of water. at
You
night.
can.
How do we do that?
Bro,
How do we do that DIY, bro? We got to figure that out.
Take a bunch of milk
DIY it.
cartons.
Dude, I can
Enclosed
tell you
small
it's
pond.
in my book. I can
Allow
tell you right
He
these
said it's in the book.
spaces
Read the
here.
book, motherfuckers.
See?
Look.
And it's in his book. So
Look,
I-
right now, this is what you can do. This is not a joke, and this is what Mike is talking about. Pointing like Mike's sitting next to me. That's what Mike is talking about up there, right? You can literally,
It's like Hollywood
go
Squares, bro.
listen, you can literally go outside and dig a fucking hole that's only a couple of feet deep and stretch plastic over it and put a rock in the center of it and push it down so it stays down all the way to the bottom of the hole, and then wake up the next morning and there's going to be water in there that you can drink. And if you're worried about then filtering it, all you have to do is then take it and put plastic in the hole, put the water in the hole, put the plastic back over the top of it and let the sun bake on it, and the sun will evaporate the water to the plastic, and the plastic will then leak back down into the water and it'll filter all the crap out of it. Okay? That's not a joke. So you can literally just do that. You can take a piece of plastic and tie it around a
I
plant.
drink enough soda. I recommend.
A plant that has green leaves,
Yep.
and leave it in the
Yep.
sun, and it's
Well,
going to
what-
create
and I think-
water in there that you can drink. It's in my book.
Well, and I mean, we really keep that. If you're in the desert, green the desert, right? Like, and if you're in green, you're good. You could really tap into some things.
Yep.
But greening the desert,
Green with
meaning
water.
bring that whole ecosystem of like life, of moss, of algae, and of like the alkaline and the acid together.
Yep.
And that's what I'm seeing, like learning, like the people that live in Arizona that are showing me, like he's making these runs that go like he's digging out trenches so he can make these ponds, and he's got pigs. So he's like, okay, so I'm seeing how fast this is draining. This little pool that pulls up on a wash, and it drains pretty fast. Like I can get water from it for a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all. He's starting with shit, dude. Like
He started
pig
with
shit.
nothing. Seriously.
And he's putting it at the bottom and then letting the pigs stomp on it, making it their pen for a while, and then letting water flood into it naturally.
Yep.
And then it's going to create that whole swamp. It will. It'll create a swamp.
Right,
And
because
if
the
it, yeah,
pigs
I mean,
will
that,
back
and you've
down
got the
all
heat to
the-
combat that.
all of the earth to where it's now going to be waterproof, and then you flood it and it creates a swamp. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, all of that.
There's things you can do anywhere you're at. You just have to be able to tap into natural resources.
And be creative, right? Like, know how nature works.
That's
Don't,
why it's important to own a little piece of land. Or a big
most
piece.
important thing is to learn wherever it is you're trying to survive. Learn what grows there. Learn the cycle.
Learn the
of life
environment.
there, right? And once you get that down, you know when it's going to rain. You know when to sleep. You know when to be awake. If you're living in a desert and it's 135 in the sun in the daytime, it's pretty smart not to be outside in that kind of weather at that time. You want to find yourself shelter.
You know when the greenhouse.
Right?
You know
And
when
that's where underground
you know when
comes
to
into
use money.
play. If you don't have a house with an air conditioning, you need to carve yourself an underground so that you can go in there during the hot part of the day and come out at night.
Oh, dude, they do that in Arizona, bro.
Yeah,
They do that down by the Mexican border, dude.
I lived in Arizona for almost 5 years, and you have to know the territory. You have to know what's a floodplain. You can think you're going to set up shop, and hey, I got this piece of land, and somebody sold it to you, and they didn't tell you that they sold you a piece of land that's on the floodplain.
It was a whole floodplain.
Everything you own is washed away, and you might
they
die.
won't tell you these things.
No, you have to
But it is a floodplain. As long as you got a little bit of that's not a floodplain, you can utilize that.
Yes.
And make it good for you. Like this is really what Tesla was teaching.
The water flow so
Also,
that you collect it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
But you also have to understand what rights to your land you have. Because
yes.
If you do not have all rights to
mineral
your
rights,
land,
water rights,
all of that stuff, that means that they now have the power to, we think this
We're
is
just
here
going
in
to
your
come here
yard.
and take it
We're
from
going to
you.
come dig up your shit.
Right, and they can.
Yeah, make sure you have your land
So,
free and clear with your water rights,
you
or
want
at least
to
a
make
good
sure
deal.
you have the right.
We're learning
to
this,
your
man.
plot,
We're learning this.
right? Which is why we are deciding to kind of take it a little bit slower.
You should have read my
I mean,
book,
we're
bro.
kind of pushed into it, which is fine.
If you read my book, you'd already
We're digging it. But
should have read
yeah,
my book.
you gotta, well, I knew a lot of that too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've lived in campers. I've done this whole camping for a living thing. And yet I'm still finding, though, that it truly does come down to your priorities, the way you live, your lifestyle, how much you actually need to properly function. Because here's the thing, I could have the perfect little spot, but if I can't properly move in it, and it starts to constrain me in some way and cause me an issue at all.
Denise brought up a good point.
You know,
she said that is what was good about having kitchens in the basement years ago, along with the cellar.
Mm-hmm.
No air conditioning needed, and that's true.
Right?
I mean, that's when you're under the ground, when you're beneath the earth. That first layer is very cool. Even in the hottest of environments, you're basically putting yourself in a bubble underneath. I mean, where I come from, the scouts,
or it'll keep you warm in the
where I
winter.
come from, they do this. It's called the Klondike or something. I can't remember. But they go up on the mountains, which we're talking about, like 9,000-10,000 feet, and they build these ice caves, and they live in them for like a weekend.
Yep.
And they can do it. Like they come back having fun. Like, holy shit, this was cool. We built ice caves. If you get underneath, you're protecting yourself from the elements, which I'm telling you right now, from living out as a nomad for a month and living in my truck, the wind is the worst fucking element. Dude. I mean, the sun is bad. You can get rained on.
Remember,
but the wind, oh my God, it is like constantly
forward. But as far as the element you have to deal with as a person,
that's the one that's bugged me the most so far.
Hold on. Y'all are saying that because y'all have wind as a big problem in your area. I will tell you the biggest fucking problem is water.
Rain.
Because in this
Yeah.
place, in a couple of years,
I wish I had that problem.
it was the rainiest place. I had to find a solution to where rain wouldn't get through my fucking roof and down my walls. Water
Right,
would
right.
get
No, water really is a
anywhere.
big one too. I will. Yeah. You know
Well,
what?
but
I'll
if
give
you're
you that
living
too.
in a
I'll
Water
give
is-
you that.
they're all big. They're all big
Water
ones.
isn't
Where
really
my
a
area
problem except for
Yeah.
during monsoon season,
Right,
right? So it
right.
depends on where
But
you
I-
live.
I-
Now,
But
you
listen,
live
listen.
In, Mike, you live in
For a hurricane,
tropical
which you're
area
all
where
you're
you
in
get
that
a ton of
season.
rain, so you have to worry about it.
You're in that hurricane area. Wind is still a bitch for you, dude, because
Yeah.
you still get hurricane weather, and
Right.
that's started by the wind. The wind is what is the perturbation for that, for the water,
But-
for the
Yeah. That's what pushes things forward, right?
Well,
Moves things
what-
along. That
wind is.
weather
I'm learning
brings
wind
it
is a
forward.
fucking powerful motherfucker.
What
But no,
causes
yes,
wind?
water
What
ultimately,
causes wind?
overall, as far as true damage,
Yeah, that just damages shit.
it does. Yes, I will give
What-
you
But what
water.
do you think the damage is guided? Who do you think guides the
What-
damage?
Right,
what
right.
causes
Which is what I was
hold
just
on.
saying.
both of
But-
y'all? Hush. What causes wind? It's called heat. Whenever you've got the sun that's heating things up, it will create certain high pressure areas. Whenever we got low temperature, and this is a thing in Oklahoma,
But the low pressure is caused from cold,
low temperature.
not the sun.
Yeah.
It's caused from the opposite,
Yeah, exactly. And that's what my
and it
grandparents
blows wind too.
They
Yep.
both do. My grandparents.
Me
have
and Leo live in the western regions. We know that north and south wind fight all the time,
Oh,
especially during the change of seasons.
Yeah.
There's a north and south wind, and I'm sure you've got the same thing. It's just different. Like
We
you're
got
feeling the
right
same
now.
jet stream, Mike.
Right
but
now, check this
they're-
out.
The
Okay.
cold. That's why sailors always. If you go north, you're gonna be cold. You go south, you're gonna be warmer.
Yeah, but
You go
Greg,
fucking
Now here
east,
in
you're gonna be cold.
California,
You go
guys,
west, you're gonna be a little bit
right
warmer.
now in California, we just went through a patch that was the temperature during the day was 65 degrees. And then it went up to
Right.
70, and then at night it cools down to almost freezing. And right now is Wednesday. By Friday, the temperature outside
Right.
today, the heater's kicking on. It's 65 degrees outside. By Friday, it's going to be 95 degrees. Why is that? Because the
Yeah,
low
I know, yeah.
we're in your state right now. Remember, bro.
with the wind
get you.
and the high pressure system
So I
is
don't
going to
think
be
it's-
sitting right over the top of Northern California. And so because of that, this is what Aaron was talking about. Because of that, the low pressure system is pushed east and the high pressure system is sitting right here, and it's going to come in as soon as it
Yeah.
comes in. it's coming in
There's a
at
battle going on.
35,
Change of
40
the
degrees.
seasons. There's a battle going on.
Yep.
It's a dance,
And that's
actually.
going to stay for
Really,
about a
it
week
is.
or two.
It's a dance.
It
of
is
nature.
a
pressure
beautiful
system
dance.
will come back in. It's just you know what, when I was in Arizona, it was the
Yeah.
same way. You know, you have to worry about that. If the high pressure system sits too long, temperature just goes up. As soon as that moves away in a low pressure
Yep.
system, you can wait for that to happen because everything cools down. Here in Northern California,
And
we have
again-
this northern wind that shoots down from the top. If it doesn't go across the nation and head towards New York, it shoots down and it hits us, and then it continues. And sometimes it comes off of the water from Hawaii. When that happens, it's warmer, but it's more tropical, so it's moist. So we get that, and that shoots in,
Right.
and that also goes. But when we get
And the
shit
wind
coming
does
from
need to be
Mexico,
there. You need a
and from
breeze, bro.
Arizona,
It's miserable.
that's all the storm fronts that they push that run the haboobs in Arizona. If you live in
Yeah.
Arizona, you're going to figure out what that is. That's a sandstorm that will start.
And
here
it rains in Arizona.
starts
Well,
in
the thing is,
July.
it doesn't rain as
I
much
love
in other
wind. I
places,
just don't.
but
So fluid.
yeah.
So creative, and it's.
I'm looking in northern Arizona, dude, so I'll get 90s. That's what I'm getting. I'll get like a couple of days in
Now, if
100
you're in
and
northern Arizona,
whatever, but I'm not going to
you get
Phoenix.
snow
Fuck all
in
that
northern
middle,
Arizona in the
central.
wintertime.
Like I'm going closer to, I'm looking closer to New Mexico, like right on the border of New Mexico. Like
Go north,
Sholo and
go
down
north,
further, like
go north.
So you're up
Apache.
above the
Go
rim.
north. Go
Uh,
north. Go to the mountains.
Yeah. So you're still up above the rim. If you're up above the rim, the what is it called, the tachyon rim or whatever. they
right
call it,
right over there in the four corners and down below, like straight down the four corners, like just
that was
in
the area
Arizona.
that I
Think
was
about
gonna
that.
buy land, bro.
Straight down to Mexico.
But where you were talking about, that's
Yeah.
the area where I was going to buy land. Up in that
St.
up there
Joseph's
above
or
the-
whatever they
by the
call
four
it.
corners, but a little bit west and south, and then everything trailing down from that until you get back into the desert. All of that area, I wanted to buy.
Dude,
land up.
I found one, but I would only go in with people on it, and two people would have to be silent partners. But I
Right.
found one. It was like 22.7 for 66 acres, dude. and it had a well that everybody could share.
Yep.
So there
But you can only part it out. You can only parcel it. You'd have to go in like just with a partner.
20,
You can only
22
parcel it out
grand?
once.
Yeah.
22
Only
grand?
let you parcel at once. Yep.
22 grand?
22.7, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost 23.
Nobody wants to.
Yeah,
live in the
dude. Land
desert,
is
Mike.
going
You know what,
fucking
right?
cheap
And
in
well,
Arizona
that's
right now, man.
Arizona was like that.
You just
the
have to work
highest,
the
most
land.
expensive area for like, I'm talking like 10, 15, 20, sometimes more acreage for 20,000. No, it's like $1,000 an acre.
And it's
Nobody
next.
wants to
It's
live
next to BLM land,
You
which
can't
means you
get
could
rid of
just roam.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't think people don't want it. No one wants to move to the desert. They have this whole idea. I don't want to live in the desert. That's crazy. That's the desert.
Because
Fuck
they're
that.
afraid of it.
And
Well,
'cause they're
because
afraid
it's
of it.
hard.
Yeah.
But
They're
you
afraid of
know, it's fucking beautiful.
I'm just moving to another high desert like I did before. But
But
as
yeah,
you
if
go
you're going
south,
there,
the
bro,
sun gets hotter.
Aaron,
Like
if you're
I don't know
going
what I don't know how to
look
explain that.
into- Listen, if you're going there, look into the mesquite tree and look into the hickory tree. Both of those trees.
Yeah,
grow
mesquite. I'm
wild,
looking at the juniper. Wherever the juniper
and the
grows, dude.
Those grow wild.
Juniper,
and-
where I'm at.
Yeah, but you got to look into the other ones. Grow a bean, okay, on the tree. Both the mesquite and the other one grow a bean on there that everybody just leaves and lets die. Okay, and the Native Americans taught all the Americans when they were going across the southern plains to get to the west coast. They taught them as they were losing food after they left Texas and they were all starving. They taught them that there's these mesquite trees and hickory trees that grow this green bean that looks like peas, right? It's like a pea pod with 3 or 4 or 5 peas in it. You can take that and cook it like a green bean and eat it, or you can break it open like peas and cook those and eat those. If you let them dry out, which they naturally do,
Nice.
fall off the tree, if you pick those up and you mill them and turn them into flour, it is sweeter. It is looks like natural wheat. It's that tan color. It's sweeter and has 1,000 times more vitamins than wheat. But the only reason that America never cultivated this stuff, which is wild, in the southwestern desert of the United States, from Texas all the way to California, from Wyoming all the way down to Mexico and into Mexico, the only reason that the Americans didn't cultivate that and turn it into wheat was because we already had the wheat fields in the east, and nobody wanted to. All the robber barons owned all the wheat fields, and they were like, no, we're not going to be changing over to something that's gluten-free naturally, and that is 100 times better for you. It's like the Moringa oleifera tree, only it's growing naturally in the desert of the United States. Nobody wanted to change over to that. The only people who use it now are yuppies. They put it in their drink. If you go to Jamba Juice, they have that as something you can put in as an energy kicker in your drink. People don't realize that it's better for you. You can make everything you make out of cake, pies, pizza dough, bread, everything that everyone makes out of wheat.
Yeah.
And it's 100 times better.
And that's the whole thing. Like I was telling you, like wherever you're at in the world,
right?
Utilize what is indigenous
to that area. Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to be in the low desert, and it's called the Mojave.
Julie said, honey,
but it's actually the Sonoran Desert. It's just not. But anyway, being able to grow like agave, I don't think I can grow agave, but I can grow what are they called? No, aloe. You can grow aloe, but no, I'm thinking it's not a cactus. In that area, you can grow. God damn it, what are they called? They're really expensive vegetables.
Are you talking about the avocado?
Artichokes. Artichokes. And you know what? I can grow citrus trees and dates, and I can grow a lot of things indigenous to that area that people can't get, like because of embargoes across the country, or the world. Right. I can grow things there in the desert similar that I can grow across the world that have similar climates. And I want to grow exotic things and like normal things, but exotic things that are indigenous to certain areas.
Therein lies the rub. It's the value added.
Asparagus grows wild out there in the area in the Sedona.
Yes, gotta have value.
Oh, even in Utah. Yeah.
You can grow peanuts. You can grow avocados. You can grow. I just said what the hell is the other one? You just said that.
Peyote. No.
Oh yeah, you can grow that too. But you can grow agave there. Well, it might be too far north because it gets freezing there. But
right, it's a little bit north. It's a little too cold.
Yeah.
Juniper, but you know what? I think peyote actually grows in the cold That cold high desert. I think
Yes, it does.
that's where you
But
find
the-
it.
But
That's
but
where you
the
find
agave, you actually have to grind it under a 2-ton stone in order to get the stuff out for tequila. So I wouldn't necessarily.
Damn, dude.
Oh, it takes a lot.
I went.
does.
I
We'll have
went
to have
to a
Mike's
tequila-
expertise if we get into
I
that.
went-
We're gonna
I
have him
went-
come down and
He's right
fucking
about that.
engineer.
I went to a tequila factory, which is why eventually I will be offering.
See, and Julie says
to
rhubarb
take it to-
also grows wild in the desert. She said
Rhubarb's
hot,
awesome.
right?
Rhubarb
Poisonous,
can be
but not.
poisonous if
Oh
you
my
don't
god,
eat it right.
that just came up. I learned that one with my grandparents.
Yeah. See, Julie said
Mike's-
yes. I lived in the
The
high
roots
desert
and
of
the red
Mojave
part is
for
not.
9 years. I was a plant specialist for a bit. So yes, so she perfect.
Holy
And then
shit!
agave makes good soap. Yeah, you
Like,
can make soap out of oil, right? Soap is a byproduct. If you make diesel fuel or
Agave makes an
biodiesel,
excellent sugar.
out of oil,
Sweetener,
cooking oil,
makes an
whatever,
excellent tequila.
The leftover thing of doing that is soap. If you take literally, you can go take Chinese food, take the oil that they're going to throw away, or McDonald's or anywhere where they have a deep fryer and they're going to throw that oil away. Take that oil, and there's only 2 chemicals. It's in my book. There's only 2 chemicals you throw in there, and it creates
One of them is
biofuel, which is
alcohol.
basically
One of them-
diesel.
one of them is
And
alcohol.
Damn, dude, just show your book. Hold on, I'm gonna feature you. Hold on, dude. Hold on, I gotta figure this out. Show your book and talk about it. Hold on, let me
In
figure it out.
2000
It's going right
hold
here.
on, Aaron, shut up. In 2007,
How do I do that?
I set up.
Leo,
to
keep
do that
talking.
without
Leo,
having
just
to-
talk. And show your book, dude. Show your book.
I'm showing my book.
There we go.
We need the
But
link
everybody's
on
interrupting.
Amazon to find it.
What's that?
Yeah, you gotta talk or take over the talking.
Right. So, guys,
Just
you can look
talk,
this up.
and you'll get
Look this
this.
up on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle, so you don't have to buy the hardcover book, right? You can get it on Kindle for like $5, right? I'm not greedy. If I was greedy, I would have been promoting this on every show. I would have been doing exclusive shows on that, right? But it's for beginners, and it tells you all the things we're talking about here. It doesn't tell you how to do everything. It tells you how to find that information, because there's some stuff that I don't tell you how to do, because if you do it wrong and you hurt yourself, I'm not having you sue me when it's in my book. So, but you
And if you're gonna do something, yeah.
your best
Yeah.
friend is
If you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. You're gonna learn your own path. But these are guidelines that will. They're like more like fundamentals. You need the fundamentals of how to survive.
The biggest thing I say to you in this book is that you have to, and Aaron said this before, and so did Mike, you have to decide, and so did Norma, you have to decide what it is you can and can't live with and without in the area that you're
That's
in.
right.
Okay, and you have to, and Aaron was talking about this, and so was Mike, you have to adapt to the area you live. So you have to look around and say, what grows? When I moved
And
to
if you
Arizona,
grew up there, even better.
my buddy said, my good friend we're still friends, we've been friends for more than 35 years. He says, you better start stocking up on MREs, because if the world gets shitty, you're going to die out there in the middle of that desert, bro.
Your MREs are going to run
That's
out.
what's
You got to make
wrong.
your own
MREs.
fucking
Don't
That's
food.
what spawned this book. That freaked me out, and I said, I better learn how to survive in the desert. And after I learned, I called him up and said, dude, when the world gets shitty, you're going to fucking die, because you live in a city where they don't have nothing grows. I live in a desert where there's so much shit that grows wild out here. You can't starve to death unless you're dumb. That's the truth of it.
Yep.
If you
Right,
don't
yeah.
have the
I mean,
knowledge,
really.
you don't have the wherewithal to say, what do I need to survive in the area that I live in? And then look that up. I tell people how to survive in a city, in a major city. You know what the best place is? And I'll tell you this right now. If the world gets shitty, I don't give a fuck where you live. If you live in fucking downtown LA, when the world gets shitty, everybody's going to be running out of the city, and they're going to be running to the stores and raping all the stores, right? And the best thing you could ever do is go to a fucking mobile home park. You know why? Because people live there for 20 and 30 years, and they plant fucking trees. They plant avocados. They plant oranges. They plant apples. They plant everything, and then they fucking make corn, and they have berries, and they grow all this shit in their backyard. You know why? I know this. For 10 years, I worked for a fucking slumlord that owned most of the mobile home parks in the greater fucking west coast of the United States, and I traveled around to everywhere in the whole fucking state of California and some of the places in Nevada, and everything is the same in every fucking mobile home park, including that one guy that wears a fucking Speedo that shouldn't, the fat lady who shouldn't be wearing a Speedo that does. They have different names and they come from a
Right.
different place, but guess what? All the characters are the same, okay? But when you go to these places, they have food. The best place you can go is to a neighborhood that's been there for 30 years because people grow shit in their fucking backyards, okay? So that is
Right.
where you're going to get your food. And so those people know what they're doing. They planted stuff because why? Most of them are old. And when they were kids, they planted things because that's what we used to do in this country. If you're born before the age, before the year 1975 or after the year 1975, you have no idea what I'm talking about. If you were born in or you might if your grandparents with your grandparents' house. You know what I mean? So, but
Right.
if you were born in
And
the
that's-
80s, you probably never saw any of that and don't know that it ever existed in this country.
See,
Right.
and that's just it. It does go back to primarily like our grandparents'
Yep.
era. I
Our
realized
ancestors.
I realized this because even my mom, okay, and her siblings, and just watching from that era forward to through how I've grown up and like going forward and just watching the patterns go.
Right.
There was certain way that that truly actually made the American dream, right?
Yep.
Convenience became this programmed necessity through wars
Yep.
and through trying to make it equal through equality, right? So through pre-programmed ideology and realities happening in the world, they were able to manipulate the whole way we see
Giving us a
forward,
vision that's not our own.
right?
They kept
Right.
giving us
Right.
and feeding us a vision that's not our own. Not
And
our
I
authentic
feel like through
heart.
those
path.
initial wars,
It was
many of the women left behind saw that, and yes, they worked lands and they worked jobs, and they the ones beforehand worked the lands, right, and understood the
But they were also used
idea
to
of
it.
that.
They're like,
Then-
yeah, this is the way it is. Like, and that's what we're getting. And like,
Mhm.
this is
Yeah.
the way it is. We live, and that's
Long
what's
before
great
it
about
did-
the human
ones before
spirit
didn't
is we
work
know how to
the way
live
it
in certain conditions.
Right. But when you bring in certain ideologies and equalities that we have to fight for, right? Like why should we be fighting for this if we're all fucking living this reality? And this is the way this reality works. Why are we fucking fighting and arguing? Oh, because someone wants to take control of another being. Well, let's no one do that because that's not fucking
Let's
cool.
have our own
Are we not
expression.
like all free here?
Yep.
Why are you can have your opinion.
And
Everyone
understand the
gets to have it,
cycles
but-
that happen, that are going on right now.
But here's the
Understand the
thing,
cycles that are just, and I think I've always known that, but I've never realized it to the level or the extent I have until I've been out on the road in a car, like in a Suburban. It's not a car. Like, I'm not living in a fucking, little Toyota Corolla.
And we have
Like,
Right,
she's
and
beautiful.
have,
What do we name her? What do we name her? Fuck, I can't remember. Anyway, Knight Rider, the Midnight Rider. That's what we named her because she is a badass. She has her quirks, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I know there's many people out there that will watch this podcast or listen to it and relate to where we're at. Like, we're experiencing it and we're gonna film it, no matter in the good and the bad and the ugly. I mean, of course, you're not gonna see our worst because why would I show that on camera? But
Right.
you're going to
unless
see
it's
our
like
journey. You're going to see parts of our
unless
journey.
it's pertinent to the actual
No,
journey.
just because I'm being honest. I mean, why
like
would
I
I
totally
do that?
fucked up this build, and I
Like,
just brought
yeah,
you
I
2
mean,
weeks into it. I am going
there's
to let
times
you
we
see
get in
that
fights,
fuck
but
up.
I'm not
gonna
gonna,
let
like,
you
get on a-
see- I'll let you see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We want to show you the experience, a new experience we're going through.
Right.
And I'm learning to go back to when I was like 10 or before that to relate to my survival skills. Like, or in my, like, before I actually reached like what they so-called manhood, right? That's what I'm going back to. Like, it's not reverting. It's actually I think we ascend
And a
first,
lot of the
and then we
native
descend
cultures
because of
in
all the
our
programming,
area lived that way.
and then we have
So
to learn to
ultimately,
ascend
it
again.
was more natural to the area in which you grew up in and the way they handled things. We called it different things because we took over a lot of things. But he came
Well,
in.
we forgot a
you
lot.
know,
We forgot a lot.
Well,
of things.
because here's the thing: things became too convenient.
Yep.
And suddenly it seemed as though we didn't see it happening. Like we gradually came into this point where we needed things to be fucking easier. And thank God this easier thing came out. Right?
But easier isn't always better.
Boom.
No, it's not.
I'll trade
Easier
harder
is
for
never
free.
really better. You just think it is.
Right.
Because there's a price that you pay, and then you give up.
Exactly.
You give up your ability to do that for yourself. That's
Yep.
exactly what these guys are saying right now.
But
You
that's
give up
their
the ability to
objective.
do it for yourself.
Their objective is exactly that.
Yeah.
In order to make things easier for you, you will depend on the system because it is cheaper to buy a
Yes.
McDonald's hamburger than what it
Right.
is to go to your supermarket, buy organic beef, and make your own fucking hamburger. It is
Right.
cheaper for you to get an iFood, whatever the fuck it is that you need to fill your belly because you're bored and tired, than to actually go out and fucking wait 3 goddamn months in order to have the fucking food that you're going to need later on with planning, which was
Right.
required 150 years ago. Today,
Right,
people
and the
can
problem
bust
with
their
that,
ass for
though,
12 hours a day.
The problem with
and they
that
just
is that
feed on
you
the
go and you
system.
buy this cheap ass food, and it's cheap ass food. It's not even like Mike
Yeah.
was saying. If you go to the store, you get your own organic meat. But if you go to fucking one of these fast food restaurants, you're not getting organic meat. In some of these restaurants, you don't even know if you're getting fucking beef.
Oh,
Okay.
dude, seriously.
Yeah.
Because I'm
You
still
don't even know if you're
guilty
getting
of the
real
fast
meat. They
food
call it a
thing.
meat product. Taco
Let me
Bell
tell you
calls
what.
their meat product. They don't even call it meat.
Yeah, exactly.
Meat product.
You're getting
Like
something
cheese, dude. Find it on cheese.
better than
American
meat.
cheese. That's
Yeah,
what's sad,
meat.
dude.
Like, what the
Cheese
fuck
is
is
American
this?
cheese is not even real cheese, dude.
No,
It's like
not.
a product of cheese.
Yeah.
It's like, let's water down some cheese with some shit that will just work.
I've not entirely
It's like
got
eating margarine, dude.
away
It's
from
the
our
same thing.
convenience yet.
Yep.
Like it was made for people that are out in the field, and you know what? We'll use those because they keep longer.
Yeah, right.
We're in the
No
desert.
joke.
We have to survive on them, but you know what? There's much better options, especially if you're in the city.
Right.
And if you can make these and learn how to make these from dairy
My
or
biggest struggle
or
today,
from goat's milk
I
or
feel like it's
whatever
storage.
other milk, we're going to bring it back right to the. There's plenty of things that give milk, and you know what? You want to just all you're doing is creating more and more to survive without
Hold on.
the system
Aaron,
you have to
Aaron.
go to.
Exactly.
Aaron, one of the things that I wanted to bring to the family farm, which we actually make wheat and winter wheat. Okay, that's one of the things the family farm in Oklahoma does. Now, one of the things that my grandparents always did was they could give a fuck all about the news, but they would watch it for 15 minutes until they got to the weather.
Yeah.
And then in Oklahoma, when you saw the weather, then they would watch that, and then they would turn everything the fuck off and go to sleep.
Yeah, it didn't matter
Why?
after that. We didn't know what the weather was
Because
going to be. Yep.
Doesn't fuck nothing of it, none of it
Yep.
fucking matters unless you see the weather. And so I watch the
Right.
weather patterns in Oklahoma every fucking night. And
Yeah.
you
I
get
used to do that when I was
learn.
working outside. I would just watch the weather report. I didn't give a fuck about what else was going on. I needed to know what the weather was going to be like tomorrow to know what I was going to be up against when I went outside to work. Right. And so
Exactly.
I didn't
What they
watch.
would-
That's the truth of it. You
What
don't
they
fucking
would
care.
what they would look at is what winds would be blowing in, if it was
Yeah.
going to be humid or if it was going to be dry. Because if it came up from the Gulf, it was going to be humid. If it came down from
Yeah.
the polar regions, it was going to be cold and dry.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so you paid attention to the weather patterns to know
Yep.
whether or not you were going to collect or harvest, or maybe it's going to be too fucking muddy, or anything else that would actually happen on the farm. And so they always watched the weather. And in getting into that, I actually forgot the main point of what I actually wanted to get into, which is the fact that we are completely dependent on a system which gives us all the commodities, facilities, and being able to be just whatever you want. Everything's
Yeah.
done for you by the
Yeah.
system. They want
Yep.
you to depend
Agreed.
on the system.
Yep.
So as long as
Yes.
and we can't do necessarily cheese, because dude, I've been to Switzerland. That shit's fucking tough to make.
It is.
Motherfucker, you ain't gonna make cheese by raising a
Yes, it
goddamn
is tough
goat.
to make, but it just takes
Make
it's just,
your-
just as tedious, bro.
It takes time.
Focus on
not that tough.
focus.
It's not that tough.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
that
not that
tough,
tough.
but focus your time and your energies on what you need to survive.
Yeah.
If you can make the things that you survive on, great, and you can
Right.
also make cheese from goat's milk, fucking fantastic. But
Yeah.
focus on making sure.
Because
that
right now we can, but I'm just saying, learning how to survive in style, bro. Because we're not just surviving; we want to go above that and be able to do it from raw land or wherever we're at and make it work. But we all have our taste. I mean, I like to have good cheeses. I like to have some wine. I love tequila. I love certain tastes in this world that do help you not just survive, but be able to survive in a nomadic way or a way that's out in the boondocks, right?
Enjoy survival.
And thrive and enjoy your life.
Enjoy
Yes.
survival.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
it's not enough to eat like the Germans did back in 1930. You know, a bunch of fucking potatoes because they had nothing else to fucking eat, or the
Yeah, like
Irish.
the Irish
whenever they
forever.
Right.
but the Irish survive on tomato.
Making it
potatoes.
comfortable.
They
That's why you don't
the
go mad
potatoes.
and kill yourself, dude.
Yeah.
Well, see,
Yep.
the thing is, you have to have a certain level of survival. Yes, the tequila is great. However,
But
it's
you
not easy to make.
survive.
But it all
Easy,
starts with
great,
the skills to
not
survive.
fucking
You have
easy.
to learn
You
the
will-
skills to survive.
Well, for example,
Right.
you will have to grow a goat or make a goat grow to a point to where they will be able to reproduce. And if they have calves or whatever, kids, which is baby goats, then they will start to produce milk. At that point, you will start to extract the milk from the goat. After that, you will treat the milk and turn it into butter and churn it. And you will churn it even
Right.
more to make it something that can actually be sustainable. But you can't actually eat that. You have to actually put that into storage for another 6 to 9 months in order to ferment and become the cheese that we so enjoy. It's a long fucking process. And whenever I was a kid, I always tried to learn every single step.
A long and
all of the
winding
process.
road, brother.
And so whenever we
Well, and that's meat as well. Like being able to cure meat and actually wait for it to cure. It's all about like getting it to that point where you you're keeping cycling it, so you
cannot kill
you don't
cannot
out.
kill a cow and eat
You can get
it
yourself
the
in
whole
those
day.
cycles of like, so I'm not going to run out. I have to run to the store and spend like $50 or $60 in gas to go to fucking the store because I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and being able to like be sustainable without having to go to those places as much. And I'm learning that at a micro level of like, holy shit, I'm going to spend a lot of gas if I have to go to town, and I need that money to build.
Make it yourself. Absolutely.
Right. All right, guys.
Right.
I'm gonna have to go at
However,
6 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to
making
jet.
it yourself.
So you
is
guys have
absolutely-
a great night.
I
and
mean,
continue on with what's going on. I'll
you
see
too,
you guys.
man.
I'll be doing a show.
Yeah, we can
probably
leave with this
tomorrow
right now.
on-
So you work one more
definitely
time.
check in on Friday. For those of you who got here just now, Friday at 11 a.m. at Ancient Aliens Worldwide, the group on Facebook. Go there. You'll see the show that we're going to be doing. I'm also going to be live on my show at 4 p.m. Because that one's at 11. We're only doing 2 hours, and then I'll come back live on at 4 o'clock. As usual, I'll be back on the air there, and I'll be talking about this a little bit more as well, and talking about this book, my second book as well, How to Get Out of Debt, Surviving in the 21st Century. Right. So, and you guys can get those, like I said, there. I just get them on Kindle, man. They're there. You can get them on any audio book place for like $5. Do that. These right now, I don't know if I even have these still in print. You could probably find copies in used bookstores, but I don't know if I have those in print still. Right. But this one is in print. You guys can get this one everywhere. Orion Rising. All right. I got to go. I got the Warriors are in the playoffs. They're going to be starting in about a half hour. I got to do dinner for
Take
mom.
care of your mom.
So you guys have a
Oh,
great
shit.
night. Right. You guys have a great night.
All right, man.
Have a good
Check
one,
out,
man.
check out. Love you, brother.
Learn to survive and survive.
We're gonna sign off now. Yes, and thrive. Survive and thrive. Learn how to survive and thrive.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. Have a great
your
week.
life.
Love y'all.
Enjoy
That's
your
right.
life. Thanks, everybody.